Saturday night twilight at Dodger Stadium, and they are revved up here. A crowd that will come close to 55,000 tonight for the National League Championship Series. The 2017 NLCS is presented by Camping World. A rematch. Cubs-Dodgers. Cubs, the National League Central Division champs, outlasting the Washington Nationals in a thrilling 5-game series. And then the Dodgers, 104 wins this year, the best record in the majors, a clean sweep of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And hi, everybody. We are thrilled to be here with you tonight. Thanks for joining us. Brian Anderson along with Ron Darling. Sam Ryan is our reporter. And right out of the gates, as you heard on the pregame show, there is major news with the Dodgers, Ron, because one of the best players in the game, Corey Seager, is out with a back injury. The Dodgers have Charlie Culberson at shortstop tonight.
You mentioned they won 104 games. One of the reasons they won 104 is because of their depth. 50 games over 500. When Seager made a start, it would be the equivalent of Chris Bryant not being available to Joe Madden.
Well, the Chicago Cubs on the flip side, they are a ragged team with their difficult travel day, but they are relatively healthy. And this is a ball club with a franchise that was dogged for years by the lovable loser icon, right? And so now, the Chicago Cubs over the last couple of years, they have found ways to win games, and it showed up big time against the Nationals.
You know, they're doing all the little things that you have to do. I'll tell you one thing, the Dodgers better respect Anthony Rizzo. He had 4 hits with runners in scoring position. He was their most clutch player. John Jay saw a lot of playing time. Why? Because catches like that to stop rallies. And even more importantly, crazy stuff. John Lester, the man who can't throw to first, picks off Brian Zimmerman, first base, and then finally, in Game 5, Dusty Baker threw, and Jose Lobaton got picked off by Wilson Contreras.
And dare we even say at this point of the game, Cubs fans, you're expecting good things to happen, right? They're back in the National League Championship Series against the Dodgers. We got a couple of left-handers on the mound here tonight. Jose Quintana will start for the Cubs. It'll be Clayton Kershaw, a potential Cy Young Award winner for LA.
You know, Quintana made his first postseason start. It went great. 5 2/3, no earned runs. But the King Kershaw, waiting for one of those efforts here at his home ballpark that you expect from him. He just recently won his first game in the postseason in the NLDS in Game 1.
Kershaw and the Dodgers flipping the script a little bit. Rematch of last year, but it is the Dodgers who host Game 1 with the best record. A great stage, a showdown series. It starts next on TBS. From the great Vin Scully brings us back into Dodger Stadium. Our reporter Sam Ryan, as you check this beautiful Saturday night, Sam's all over the story with the Dodgers and their shortstop Corey Seager. And Sam, they're going into the well tonight with Charlie Culberson in the lineup.
Yeah, Brian, Dave Roberts telling us before the game a short time ago that he went with Charlie Culberson, wanted to go with his best defender at short with a lefty on the mound. I did catch up with Charlie Culberson a short time ago, and he said, you know what, he knew this was a possibility this week.
I was just trying to keep my mind ready to, if something were to happen, it wasn't a big shock to be activated and to be playing. So, just talking to a few people, just trying to keep it, like another day and keeping the mindset, at ease just to go out there and play baseball. So we have some live BPs during our practices, just trying to jump in there and seeing some pitches coming in and running the bases, just doing all the normal stuff that I would do if I were getting ready for a normal game. So nothing too crazy, but yeah, I feel ready. I'm good to go.
Yeah, he's talking about the sim games earlier this week, Wednesday and Thursday, some reps at shortstop as well. And guys, you may recall quite a moment for Charlie Culberson here at Dodger Stadium last year in September of 2016. He had a walk-off home run in a game against the Rockies in extra innings, and that game helped the Dodgers clinch the NL West crown.
Oh, it did. It was a memorable moment, and the last moment of play-by-play called by Vin Scully at Dodger Stadium. That is the backdrop. Culberson certainly well known to Dodger fans. This is the Camping World batting order for Joe Madden. John Jay will lead off. Chris Bryant hits second, and Rizzo bats third. In the middle, it goes Wilson Contreras, Albert Almora Jr., and Addison Russell. Kyle Schwarber, a bit of a surprise in the lineup tonight. We'll get into that. Javier Baez at second base, and Jose Quintana rounds out the starting nine for the Chicago Cubs. And Ronnie, let's take a look at our starting pitcher profile presented by State Farm. Clayton Kershaw, one of the best pitchers in this generation.
Yeah, we're giving you his postseason numbers. In the regular season, 80 games over 500, 144 and 64. This is his 8th postseason start of game 1. Defensively behind Kershaw, maybe the best throwing outfield left in the postseason. Kike Hernandez in left field, Chris Taylor in center, of course the wild horse, Yasiel Puig in right. Turner, Culberson, Forsythe, Bellinger across the infield with Austin Barnes doing the catching. You've talked about a lot about Charlie Culberson. Only started one game all year at shortstop. So the nerves have to be playing a part.
Well, no question about that. A lot of decisions to be made with Culberson, who's making his first career postseason start at shortstop. He made a postseason start at second base last year, and he is stepping into the fire here tonight. All the pieces in place. 6-man umpiring crew is together. John Jay steps into the batter's box against Clayton Kershaw, and we are ready for game 1 of the NLCS. And Kershaw's first offering is in there for a strike, and away we go. John Jay has had a terrific run through the postseason as they want to take that baseball out for posterity.
And Clayton Kershaw is like, are you kidding me?
That was a perfectly rubbed up baseball.
I just threw a strike. You can't take that ball out of play.
Everything will be marked and available for sale a little bit later on today. And a swing. Unable to check it. Quickly 0-2. What you're going to see tonight in Clayton Kershaw and Jose Quintana are 2 pitchers. Matter of fact, the top 2 pitchers in the National League this year getting ahead of hitters. Kershaw was the best. Quintana number 2, and 3 pitches. John Jay is strikeout victim number 1.
Boy, no chance for Jay. Fastball down the middle to start, and that 2 cutter sliders that Kershaw throws. This one, being ahead 0-2, just throws it in the dirt. Nice pick there by Barnes. Following that pitch, just works its way and down away from John Jay.
Couple of starts last year in the NLCS for Clayton Kershaw. He threw a gem in game 2 against the Cubs at Wrigley Field. Came back and lost game 6. His first offering to Chris Bryant is a swing and a miss.
You'll see a lot of these Cubs hitters that usually can be very patient. They can't be patient off Kershaw. They might only see 1 pitch to hit in the first 3 or 4.
Chris Bryant trying to get off the strikeout wheel right now. 10 punch-outs in the division series. Finished up putting together another very impressive year for the Cubs. He is the reigning MVP in the National League. He ended up with 29 homers. The RBIs were low. Lack of production maybe at the top of the batting order. No Dexter Fowler this time around, and even Chris Bryant admitting he didn't have the kind of year he wanted with runners in scoring position. But all of the other numbers, including OPS, very strong for Bryant. With the shift on, 3 on the left side, and Bryant lines one into left field. That's down, a base hit. And the Cubs have their first hit off Kershaw. A man on for Rizzo.
First baseman number 44, Anthony Rizzo.
First pitch of the at bat to Bryant was executed. It was a cutter down and in. This one did not get there. Did not cut and stayed right over the outside part of the plate. A strength for Bryant, and he hits a BB to left field.
Well, the Cubs coming off just a thrilling series against the Washington Nationals, winning on Thursday, and then they had all kind of flight problems, which we will get into as we go through our broadcast today. They pointed it out in the pregame show as well, and it was a wild ride. No workout yesterday for the Cubs, so they just arrived today, take a few swings on the field, and they're ready for game one as Anthony Rizzo takes strike one from Kershaw.
Kershaw is difficult to run on for 2 reasons. Of course, left-handed, keeps the runners closer, but he has a slide step to home as quick as any left-hander in baseball.
We'll see a lot of shifts, especially with Bryant and Rizzo. The Dodgers go the opposite way on the shift with Rizzo, with 3 on the right side. Kershaw's given up a lot of homers this year. The most home runs allowed at any point in his career came this season. Rizzo's hit 3 homers in his last 9 at-bats against Clayton Kershaw.
Interesting pitch there by Kershaw. Usually spends most of his time against left-handed hitters on the outside part of the plate. That one was inside. 11 home runs in his last 57 innings pitched in the postseason.
Crowd is up and into it early here at Dodger Stadium. This twilight start has to be a difficult time of night to swing the bat. Kershaw deals and Rizzo pops it back our way. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Rizzo. Another fantastic season for Anthony Rizzo, becoming one of the great clutch hitters in the game consistently. The Gold Glove Award winner at first base last year. 32 homers, 102 RBIs during the regular season, and great numbers against some of the best pitchers in the game, especially Clayton Kershaw. Does not bite. Bryant took off, then stopped, and Barnes corrals it.
Yasmani Grandal, who caught a lot of the games last year and most of the games early this year, but Austin Barnes has taken over because of this athleticism. He can run, he's quick, and he got to that ball quick enough to keep Chris Bryant at first base.
Grandal was behind the plate with Kershaw on the mound in game 1 in the division series against Arizona. Barnes gets a call here tonight. 2-2 the count, and Rizzo, did he go? They will ask. Able to check his swing, says third base umpire Jim Wolf.
Rizzo with 2 strikes will choke up on that bat. He'll shorten his swing, and that's something you don't see from sluggers in baseball today. He did not go through. Good call by the third base umpire Jim Wolf.
That's Lance Barksdale behind the plate calling the balls and strikes. Kershaw with a strikeout, then Bryant single. Bryant takes off, pitches high, ball 4. Rizzo draws the walk. 2 on now as Bryant and Rizzo
That's
reach.
number 40, Wilson Contreras.
And already runners in scoring position for Clayton Kershaw. So imperative how you start a game. Every playoff game is the same that way. That first inning can feel like the 9th inning for most starting pitchers, just trying to close out the first inning with no runs. And already the Cubs, the road weary Cubs, have put some pressure on in this first.
What you're trying to do as a pitcher is you're trying to coalesce your talent with the adrenaline that you have in a postseason game.
Contreras has been one of their best with runners in scoring position. He's in the cleanup spot. He'll bat with 2 on and 1 away. We're just underway in the National League Championship Series. And a strike from Kershaw.
That pitch right there is going to be the key. That pitch is very close. Barksdale called it a strike. Could have been off the plate away. If he's getting that pitch, Kershaw's going to be tough.
Dodgers set up to turn 2 here, looking for the ground ball. One of the main reasons, as Sam pointed out, that Dave Roberts wanted Culberson in the game. He had decisions to make on Chris Taylor, perhaps Kike Hernandez. Both players who are currently starting outfielders tonight are shortstops by trade, but he went with Culberson because he wants the defense with his ace on the mound. He wants the infield defense at shortstop. It will be imperative for Culberson to vacuum up everything he can get to.
But most of his games at shortstop were in Oklahoma City.
That's right. Charlie Culberson had 97 games in AAA at shortstop this year. He's on a big stage here tonight. A swing and a foul. Seager, how disappointed must he be right now? The rookie of the year last year in the National League and unable to go. It was a slide early in the game in Game 3 against the Arizona Diamondbacks that injured his back. He's got some muscular problems back there, says Doc Robertson. They're just being safe, and they want to make sure they don't lose him potentially for the World Series. So he's off the roster for the NLCS. He can return in this series. As a call, strike 3. Kershaw drops the hammer on him. His signature pitch, and he picks up his second strikeout.
It's the biggest curve in baseball, and when he throws it, it's almost like he casts it into the sky, and then it starts to break and come down. Got the call from Barksdale right on the inside corner. 94 plus on his fastball, 74-mile-an-hour curve. Started at his shoulders, ends up at his thighs.
It's a lot of velocity to cover, right? Kershaw, one of the best because of that pitch. Features a very sharp slider as well. He's throwing more of that here lately. Now 2 outs for Almora, and a swing and a miss. Defensive hack at that on the slider from Kershaw.
Almora's numbers, though, have been great all season long against lefties and also good runners in scoring position.
298 overall during the regular season. He has a couple of hits in the postseason. He's at 342 against left-handers this year throughout the regular season. And a 317 hitter for the Cubs with runners in scoring position, and that's what the Cubs do better than any team in the National League. They get on base and they deliver with runners in scoring position. Put together the best second half in the National League after they found themselves behind 5.5 games to the Milwaukee Brewers at the All-Star break. 1 ball, 1 strike. Another defensive swing by Almora, this time on a fastball.
Yeah, they ripped the 49 wins and 25 losses after the All-Star break.
Just got a piece, did Almora. Very gifted center fielder. Almora finds himself in the lineup batting 5th here tonight. Joe Madden orchestrating this batting order that has Schwarber in there. Loses the bat, feet are all over the place.
That's what Kershaw will do to you.
Cubs looking for a big hit early against the Dodger ace. On the ground to third, nice pickup by Turner. He'll go to the bag to retire the side. We are underway in the LCS. Kershaw puts up a 0, and now Jose Quintana on the mound for the Cubs. Nice pickup at third base by Justin Turner. Tonight's batting order presented by Camping World for Dave Roberts and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Chris Taylor leads off. Justin Turner's moving into the 2 spot tonight with Seager out. Then Cody Bellinger hits 3rd. Middle 3, it's Kike Hernandez, Logan Forsythe, and Austin Barnes with Puig, Culberson, and Clayton Kershaw rounding it out. And that's a lineup that will face left-hander Jose Quintana. Pitcher profile presented by State Farm.
Well, Quintana was outstanding for the Cubs. They acquired him in the middle of July. They were having pitching issues all season long. He solidified that with a record of 7-3 in 14 starts for the Cubbies.
First pitch strike to Chris Taylor. If Quintana is right, you'll be saying that a lot and hearing that a lot tonight. First pitch strikes are how he succeeds in the major leagues. From the White Sox to the Cubs in a very rare trade from the south side to the north side. Only 3 such trades in the last 25 years between those 2 teams.
This left-hander had 207 strikeouts, so he can put you away. He's got the good fastball, changeup, a curveball, but he can elevate the fastball too. That's where he gets a lot of his strikeouts.
He's got Taylor 0-2. Now Jose Quintana comes to this start with a lot on his mind, and by now, if you haven't heard the news about the Cubs trip from Washington D.C. to Los Angeles, it was rerouted to Albuquerque. There was a non-life-threatening situation on the plane, and it turns out it was Jose Quintana's wife, Michelle, and we are being told she's doing well, recovering here in Los Angeles. But as Pedro was pointing out in the pregame show, Ronnie, you have to think about, is Quintana on his mind at all what happened yesterday? He stayed back with his wife, did not travel the rest of the trip with the team, just arrived here yesterday.
All I know is, in knowing Quintana, anyone who describes Quintana tells you that he is a tough competitor, a tough kid. He's one of those guys who's not going to give in, and I think sometimes, Brian, and I can only speak for myself, when things are going around you that are just crazy, sometimes just getting in the white lines on that little hill is where you'll find peace.
Had him 0-2, now it's 3-2. Dodger leadoff man and center fielder Chris Taylor. On the ground to 3rd, there is Bryant. Fires one across the infield, and that's how the night begins for Jose Quintana. For more on the Quintana story, let's check in with Sam Ryan.
Yeah, and Brian, the Cubs did confirm to me that Michelle is here. She's in LA. Jose did rejoin the team late last night. And Joe Maddon saying that that really factored into part of his decision for naming his Game 1 starter. He wanted to wait until he got the call from Jose to make sure everything is okay. He said this is a game, and that's a human element, guys.
Left-handed. Obviously, that's a better option for Joe Maddon against the Los Angeles Dodgers tonight, he feels. But in case it gets squirrely for Joe Maddon and the Cubs, he pointed out to us John Lackey might be the first one out of the bullpen if Quintana is having trouble getting through this very good hitting team in the Los Angeles Dodgers.
You know, I mentioned before, there's John Lackey, that Quintana went 5 2/3, did not give up an earned run. In that start, the first 5 hitters were retired on the ball on the ground. Ground ball outs. First out here was to Bryant.
Justin Turner elevated to the 2 spot in the batting order, minus Seager. Had 4 at-bats in the regular season, hitting second. He'll hit anywhere in the lineup, but he is the Dodgers' best overall hitter, and he has been a clutch performer in the postseason as well. Had a terrific NLDS, and in Game 1 of the NLDS against Arizona, he drove in 5 runs.
Quintana so far is pitching very quickly. It'll be interesting to see if these Dodger hitters start to get out of the box, try to slow him down a little bit. You can see Turner doing that as we speak.
Turner is terrific with 2 strikes, best in the big leagues throughout the season. He was 5 for 9 with 2 strikes in the count in the LDS, and he lays off. That's what he does so well. The Dodgers were so impressive in the NLDS, Ronnie, taking pitches, those just off the plate. They would not bite.
Their ability to understand the strike zone is peerless as far as the National League is concerned.
2-2 the count, and Turner spoils 1 foul. Turner Ward, the hitting coach, deserves a lot of that credit.
I always loved that because I pitched against Turner Ward, and Turner Ward was the kind of guy who would swing at just about anything. But as a hitting coach, he has changed his whole way. And with Turner, that was a pitcher's pitch. He fouls it off to live another day. That's what the good ones do.
Saw Puig moving in on him as well. 2-2 pitch. Turner fouls another one away. Yasiel Puig and Turner Ward are a match made in heaven. And if Yasiel Puig has any success, there's going to be a lot of, let's call it a bromance, in the Dodger dugout here tonight. But those two are attached at the hip, and they talk a lot of hitting and other things. Puig had a very good NLDS. 2-2 to Turner. Keeps fighting him off.
I don't care how long this series goes, Brian. I'm from the generation. There's going to be no bromance here.
That's unfortunate, Ron. Dodgers are well rested, sweeping the Arizona Diamondbacks. They've had workout days here in LA, awaiting the winner of the Nationals and the Cubs, and they finally drew their opponent after that Game 5 Thursday. By the way, great job, Ronnie, you and Ernie and the rest of the crew. What a fascinating game that was. We could spend the rest of this one talking about that one and all the turns that it had. Quintana delivers, and another foul ball by Turner.
And really what happens for the pitcher here is that they start to get a little frustrated that here you are up in the count. He fights off some tough pitches. He gets back in the count. And at some point, you're running out of options on how to get Turner out.
Quintana got him 0-2. Turner's fouled off 4 of the 8 pitches he has seen. See what he has in mind. 2-2. And he called strike 3. Turner's barking loud on his way out. But that 9th pitch looked like it was right on the inside corner. Pinpoint command by Jose Quintana for the out.
Remember, all the balls that he was fouling off Turner were away. So Quintana countered with a fastball in. And what happens to a hitter a lot, when they keep reaching over to try to foul off pitches, the ball inside looks like it's a foot inside. That one was a good pitch.
Steely-eyed Colombian Jose Quintana, just 28 years of age, has been an all-star. Great run with the White Sox, sitting number 2 in that rotation behind Chris Sale for a few years. But this is a pitcher who can get it going quickly, and he's had some big games for the Chicago Cubs. His first game as a Cub in Baltimore, he struck out 12 batters, didn't walk anybody, as Bellinger takes a ball away. That could be a big pitch for him, though, against the lefties, that curveball. Bellinger hitting 3rd in the lineup. He and Turner elevated one spot. Quintana going after that edge again. Misses this time.
One of the keys for any hitter in the postseason, even during the regular season, of course, is understand how the pitcher is trying to get you out. Sometimes he'll give you the blueprint on the first at bat.
There's a strike. Now Cody Bellinger has played his way into the everyday lineup because he can handle left-handed pitching. 12 homers this year of his 39 were against lefties. 39, second in the National League behind Giancarlo Stanton of the Marlins. And that one's on the edge for a strike.
Both good pitches on the 3-0 and 3-1 count by Quintana, right on the edge.
He's found that corner. Contreras sets up out there again. And a 3-2 is fouled back to the screen. On point, the concentration. Players up on the top rail, especially for the Dodgers, awaiting the series to start. They closed out Arizona Monday, so they've been sitting on a lot of this adrenaline for the better part of the week. 3-2 pitch and a swing and a miss, and Quintana a 1-2-3 inning with a couple of punch outs.
It's ET. This is ET exclusive.
Performance presented by Jaguar. What a ball game they had in Houston today. The Astros behind Justin Verlander and Carlos Correa take the Yankees down. They're up 2-0 in that series already.
First complete game for Verlander since 2005. Outstanding effort. Correa drove in both runs, one with a home run, a little bit disputed in right field, and then of course Altuve scored from first when Sanchez dropped the ball at home plate.
Correa drove in both of those runs. Verlander goes the distance. 13 Ks, a postseason career high for Verlander. Talking about great pickups, huh? Addison Russell leading the way for the Cubs with Schwarber on deck. Kershaw back to work after a 23-pitch first inning.
The offense for the Yankees is dried up in these first 2 games. Gary Sanchez, Aaron Judge, 62 at-bats, 35 strikeouts.
Russell on the ground, another pickup by Turner. He's a smooth operator over there. And Turner makes a play for out number 1. The final out of the first inning with 2 on ended in the glove of Turner. And the first out of the second inning.
Sees in the ready position, the ball to his left, kind of gets with it just enough and does the spinorama to get him out at first base. You know, we always talk about Turner's offense, very rarely about his defense, but you're right, so sure-handed at third base.
One away for Kershaw, and here is Kyle Schwarber. Interesting poll on the card tonight for Joe Maddon. That was a big topic of conversation in our meeting before the game. He wrestled with it a little bit. I think Joe alluded to the fact that in the analytics section of the Cubs, it wasn't as well received, but he just felt like this was a matchup he wants to see. Schwarber against Clayton Kershaw, and he cited an at-bat against a left-handed pitcher in the DS, the matchup Schwarber had with Solis.
Solis, he hit a ball that 115 miles an hour off the bat that dented the wall in right field in Washington. You know, the problem you have always with Kyle Schwarber is you know you're going to get some serious pop when he's in the lineup. It's whether he can really man his position defensively. He had a key error in the NLDS.
Schwarber takes a strike, and as we have seen with Schwarber, and I think this is obviously where Joe Maddon is going with all of this discussion, is the fact he's done it on the biggest stage under the bright lights, and he wants to make a play here in game 1 of his best of 7 to see if he can get Schwarber going against a lefty. Shift was on. Forsythe out there in the grass will make the play. 2 outs for Kershaw in the second.
Second baseman number 9, Javier Baez.
Well, if you're a left-handed power hitter in baseball today, you better learn how to hit the ball the other way, because the shifts have just eaten up any kind of hit that used to be prevalent 30 years ago.
3 consecutive ground ball outs for Kershaw will bring Javi Baez to the plate for the Cubs. Baez, another dangerous weapon, hitting 8th. Now Culberson is in the lineup for the Dodgers tonight, hitting 8th. Normally that's Yasiel Puig, and I was all ready to come into this game with imagine the power that you're going to have with these 2 number 8 hitters. Puig's hitting 7 tonight, but Baez, he'll swing and miss often, but he has big thunder in that bat, which is what you want batting in front of a pitcher, the ability to strike quickly. Kershaw's got him 0-2.
You really feel as a pitcher, once you get ahead of Javi Baez, you need not throw him another strike. You can bounce it or throw it neck high.
Gonna try the slider here. Buries it in the dirt. 2-2 the count on Baez. MVP of the NLCS last year. Co-MVP with John Lester. Breakout performance against the Dodgers last season, and this rematch between the Dodgers and the Cubs. Kershaw in a 2-2 count on Baez. And it's a call. Strike 3. Kershaw rings the bell. Baez is gone, and the inside corner is open so far tonight. Don't forget, Bleacher Report connecting you to the moments that matter most in sports culture. Get your teams, your scores, your highlights all in one place. Bleacher Report. Los Angeles. They just had a military salute, which is common in most Major League ballparks now. But this was a Major League military salute. How about Chuck Yeager? Was saluted between innings here. Extended ovation.
Test pilot beat the speed of sound in 1947.
Quintana back to work. Kike Hernandez leads off for the Dodgers, and there he is. On his way down the elevator.
It's like, this is how fast this thing goes?
That was very cinematic right there as Chuck Yeager exits Dodger Stadium, slowly being dropped down into the service level. What a great moment. Foul tip and a strike on Hernandez, hitting cleanup in the Dodger batting order. 10 at-bats as a cleanup hitter this year for Kike Hernandez. He was one of the options, one of the 3 options to play shortstop tonight. Gets the start in left field with the left-hander on the mound. Basically, this decision for Dave Roberts boiled down to Charlie Culberson in the lineup versus Jock Peterson in center field and in the lineup. It came down to not so much the defense, but where the bat was going to lay, and it was Culberson who won out at shortstop. Another right-handed bat against the left-handed throwing Quintana.
Quintana had some excellent games for the Cubs down the stretch. His first start, you mentioned, 12 punch-outs to the Baltimore Orioles, and later in the game they had to have, he shut out the Milwaukee Brewers.
A complete game on September 24th. That was one of the defining road trips for the Chicago Cubs. They got off to a great start, most of it on the road after the All-Star break, and they gobbled up that 5.5 game deficit they had to Milwaukee. But then late in the year, the Cubs got hot, and that complete game shutout with 10 punch-outs at Miller Park in Milwaukee was one of the signature moments. Right off the end of the bag, Quintana fields his position well, and he makes the play. Hernandez is out number 1.
Second baseman number 11.
We'll show you the pitch grips for Quintana. He's got a little bit of everything. That four-seamer he throws at 93. He'll sink that fastball away on right-handed hitters. His changeup is one of his signature pitches. Doesn't throw that many sliders. And if he has the curveball working, that's when he has those special games.
Lobbed a curveball in against Bellinger. Missed with it. So far, fastball command has been the story for Jose Quintana. Logan Forsythe with one away on the first pitch. He bangs one through, a base hit. Forsythe, you talk about flipping the script here. He's a player that most pitchers know will get deep into a count. He's a very patient hitter, been a lot more aggressive late in the season and into the postseason, and delivers a base hit with one away.
It shouldn't take either lineup too long to figure out that both these pitchers are strike throwers, and you've got to be ready first pitch and beyond.
Kershaw best in the league, getting ahead with strike one, 67+%. Jose Quintana number 2, 64% of his pitches are strike one, a very high number. So a man on for Austin Barnes.
We did a TBS game here in the middle of September, and you could tell that Dave Roberts was changing his mind about Austin Barnes and how he wanted him to play more. He's got great speed for a catcher, versatility. He can play some infield.
It's essentially a Dodger lineup defensively that operates with 3 platoons, but 2 of those platoons are starting to change a little as Barnes goes to third. Bryant to second, out there, throw to first in time, and a double play to end the inning. Cubs go around the horn. Bryant with a perfect feed to Baez and a strong throw to first to get Barnes, who runs well. double play to end it. 2 in the books. Game 1 of the National League Championship Series. With MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. It's the only place to get it all. Radio feeds, video highlights, pitch tracking, StatCast, and much more. Download MLB.com at bat today. Brian Anderson with Ron Darling, Sam Ryan. Game 1 of the NLCS. Jose Quintana leads off for Chicago. Kershaw back out there. He's retired 5 in a row. And getting the ground balls for outs. He has 3 punch outs. Kershaw had a row of 3 straight ground ball outs. He's on his game early here tonight. Both pitchers with excellent command early in this one. Kershaw started twice against the Cubs last year in the NLCS. Quintana, that's a fair ball just past Bellinger. And a base hit for the Chicago pitcher. He had just 2 hits this year.
Number 30, John Jay.
2 for 22 in the regular season, and a surprise single for Quintana.
Sometimes you're trying to go the other way. Sometimes you're just late. And that's what happened to Quintana. Bellinger off the line, and that ball was hit sharply enough to get it past him.
Said, see, I told you I need to hit right-handed. Normally when you don't hit so well, and you hit on the opposite side, they just say, you know, you might as well just go over to the other side so you don't hurt your arm. But it's a base hit, a leadoff single, and here comes John Jay back to the top of the order. And he shows bunt right away. It's on the ground. Kershaw fields it. Nice play by Kershaw. That'll be a sacrifice bunt for Jay. That was another rotation away from getting past Kershaw. He makes a nice play.
He made a great play because his follow through is towards the third base side. So Jay decides to push it towards the right side of the diamond, and Kershaw made the play. If it gets past him, it's a base hit for Jay.
You don't see the sacrifice bunts from position players much anymore in Major League Baseball. It shows up more in the postseason, and it certainly shows up when you have Bryant and Rizzo coming up.
You never bunt with a pitcher on first either unless it's the postseason. You know this could be, feels like a low-scoring game.
Scoring opportunity here for the Cubs as Bryant takes a strike. Kershaw drops a curve and it's 72 miles an hour.
There's not many times that a catcher is not crossed up, but the break is so big on a curveball that Austin Barnes was completely fooled by the break.
Nine of 11 first pitch strikes for the pitcher who did it the best during the regular season. Kershaw gets ahead of Bryant. 1 ball, 1 strike. Chris Bryant, part of this turnover for the Cubs, the winning culture, first round draft pick. And what a stroke of luck that was for the Chicago Cubs. Mark Appel was the first pick that year by the Astros. Bryant fell in their lap, and he has turned out to be one of those once in a generation players to start his career. And he hits that one into left field. It sounded like it was on the label, and that'll be an easy play for Hernandez. Kershaw, without number 2, retires Bryant. And we'll see what they do with Rizzo coming up now.
Anthony Rizzo.
Rizzo, the Cubs' best run producer with 102. His numbers with 2 outs and runners in scoring position in the LDS against Washington. 5-game series, 3 out of 4.
Barnes has been textbook so far on those balls in the dirt. I know Chris Bryant has an MVP. He's got a Rookie of the Year. Anthony Rizzo is like the de facto captain of this ball club, and I think an MVP is going to be in his future someday.
No question. He's got a Gold Glove, won the Silver Slugger Award last year at first base. What a combination between Bryant and Rizzo as Kershaw straightens him up. He's such a tough out because he stands right on top of the plate. There are very few windows to pitch with Rizzo at the plate, especially inside.
By standing on the plate, he makes that outside corner almost the middle of the plate.
And because of that, he gets hit a lot. Among the most over the last few years in the major leagues. Kershaw hits the edge. It's a big strike for Clayton Kershaw. 2-1 the count.
I thought that pitch was down. Let's see where it was. Barksdale is right by our little rectangle. Strike zone.
Runner at second. Quintana, the Cubs pitcher. And Kershaw deals, and Rizzo turns it around. Right field. Puig is on the run, and he's got it for the out. He plays deep, and he's very fast. And he takes extra bases away from Anthony Rizzo. Still scoreless. Last inning, retiring Rizzo. We remind you that home runs mean more this postseason, as T-Mobile is guaranteeing at least $1 million for hurricane recovery efforts with every home run hit worth $10,000. Help break 1 million by tweeting hashtag HR4HR, and T-Mobile will donate an additional $1 per tweet. Yasiel Puig, the wild horse, ready to lead off for LA here in the third inning. No score. Kershaw and Jose Quintana.
You saw the 3 games they had against Arizona. You told me he was locked in.
From the first at bat, too. Got a hit his first time up. He drove in 4 runs in the NLDS. Those 4 runs came in the first 2 games, both here at Dodger Stadium. First 27 games he played in the postseason, he drove in 5 runs, and then right out of the gates, Puig comes out with 4 ribbies, 2 in game 1, 2 in game 2, and gave us a whole lot to look at off the field as well. Whether he's licking the bat or all the histrionics as he bounces to short. The short-handed Russell takes care of Puig, and there is out number 1. Between innings, Sam had a chance to catch up with Cubs skipper Joe Maddon.
Number 37, Charlie.
Joe, given the 12 pitches he threw on Thursday, some personal concerns that we talked about. What do you see from Jose?
He looks pretty normal to me. I mean, the fastball is really good. The location's good. The curveball's been burning. I think he looks fine.
Should you need to go to the bullpen early, who's your early guy and who's available?
It depends on the part of the. I mean, Lackey's available. Montgomery's available. Be one of those 2 guys.
Thanks a lot, Joe.
Charlie Culberson now for the Dodgers, and on the first pitch, grounder to short. One shortstop takes care of the other. What'd you think about Joe Maddon's comments? I'm sure he's hoping Jose is going to have a nice long start here today, but Quintana was the guy he wanted. After what happened with their travel situation, he wasn't sure he was going to get him today, but he's responded well early.
You know, it's hard for a manager when this is the 16th start he's seen from the left-hander to judge how he's going to be in big situations. But 5 2/3 innings in his first start, no earned runs, and he's one of 3 pitchers that has made 32 or more starts the last 3 seasons, along with Lester and Samardzija.
Looks like Lester is up for game 2 tomorrow night. Rich Hill against John Lester. Got 2 games to start this series. Nothing but left-handed starters on the mound between the Cubs and the Dodgers. Game face is on for Jose Quintana. Kershaw, decent hitter at the plate. Kershaw hit 184 this year. He had 9 hits. Handles the bat well, gets his bunts down.
He wants to be one of the 9 athletes on the field when he plays, not just a pitcher.
Kershaw would love to return the favor. Quintana with a single off Kershaw. In the top of this 3rd inning, was left stranded at second base. Two and two.
You know, these starts happened long ago, but he's had a couple of starts in a White Sox uniform against the Dodgers here. No earned runs and 14 innings pitched, so likes to feel this mound.
Bouncing ball foul at third. Making a bid at a base hit. Clayton Kershaw. Count will remain at 2-2.
Kershaw trying to return the Quintana favor. He hit one down the right field line. Kershaw trying to hit one down the left field line.
I like that piece of hitting, though. That's a little slap. I mean, he looked like he meant to do that. I don't know if he did, but it's a good swing. Do it again. Another 2-2 pitch. Kershaw late, but hangs in there. And we'll see at least 7 pitches, which is a small victory for any pitcher at the plate. Hasn't started here at Dodger Stadium, Quintana, since 2014. More foul balls, and the bat still intact. We'll see at least 8.
I don't know how that bat is still intact. He hit that right above his thumbs.
Quintana trying to shake him here. 8th pitch of the at bat against his mound opponent, and jam shot and roller over to Bryant, and that will retire the side. Jose Quintana has faced the minimum through the first 3 innings. Did give up a hit, wiped it out with a double play. He's sharp tonight. Don't forget, folks, Game 2 tomorrow here on TBS, NLCS. Cubs-Dodgers, presented by Camping World. It all starts tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on TBS. John Lester against Rich Hill. John Lester started Game 2, pitched well against Washington, came in relief in Game 4, 3 2/3 on Wednesday, and will match up against Rich Hill, who started Game 2 for LA. Went 4 innings against the Arizona Diamondbacks. So that's the setting with 2 left-handers tomorrow.
You know, we have a nice pitching matchup tonight. Both left-handers have been throwing the ball well. Dare I say, though, Quintana has looked even sharper than Kershaw so far.
Quintana has faced the minimum with 2 strikeouts. A lot of ground ball outs as well for Quintana. Wilson Contreras will lead off against Kershaw. Kershaw gave up a leadoff single last inning to his mound opponent, Quintana, and then retired the next 3. A sac bunt. He got Bryant to fly out to left on a jam shot, and then Rizzo just missing the barrel of his bat, flying out to right.
Kershaw's been trying to hit that outside corner with his fastball. He has not been able to do that yet.
Going to try again. Kershaw deals. Contreras takes a strike.
That's usually where he lives, right on that corner, right on the knees. And when he's got you thinking outside, that's when he's got that hard cutter. He breaks in on the right-handed hitters.
Shook off the fastball this time, coming back with a slider. Tried to backdoor him that time. He just missed. 3 balls and a strike on Contreras. Contreras has hit some of the best pitching in baseball. Against the National League top 10 pitchers in wins this year. Hit 7 home runs in just 42 at-bats. And that one is whistled into center field, a base hit. A base knock for Contreras, and a man on for the Cubs here in the 4th. Let's check in with Sam. A moment ago, she caught up with Dave Roberts of the Dodgers.
Dave, before the game, you talked about grinding the at-bats. We just saw Clayton there, JT fouling a few off early. What do you see?
I think that was our plan going in. That's what we're doing, 1 through 8. And obviously, Quintana's throwing well. Clayton's matching him pitch for pitch, and it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, Clayton on 7 days. Russ, what do you like?
I think this is the most fresh he's been going into a championship series, so he feels good mentally, physically. Those guys are still putting some at-bats on him, but I think he's throwing the baseball really well.
Thanks so much.
You know, I don't think anyone's done more postseason starts of Kershaw than I have. And when I've watched him in the past, it's almost like he has the weight of the world on him each and every time he goes out there. Like he has to win all 4 games. Well, he was outstanding last year, and this year Dave Roberts talked about him being fresh. He also missed some starts this year with some nagging injuries, which means he's probably as strong right now than he's been any part of the year.
Yeah, no question. He missed 6 starts essentially with the back injury. It's been a chronic back problem for Kershaw as he deals a strike to Almora.
Almora put his hand to his head like he can't believe that was called a strike. Never should do that, especially if you're a young player. You'll get that umpire on the other side.
He's had a good postseason, Almora. Excellent defender in center field. Kershaw with a man on. Contreras with a single, and that one misses inside. Just to follow up that point on Kershaw, though, think about just last year. You know, he pitches game 3 in the NLDS. Then he comes back, closes out game 5. That thrilling matchup. Kershaw got the save, finished the game off, comes right back, pitches game 2 of the NLCS against the Cubs, and then he pitched a gem. And then, of course, came right back and pitched game 6. So the burden he's had to bear coming back on 3 days rest, those relief appearances. It's a completely different story for the Dodgers this year. So much so that in a closeout game in Arizona last Monday, Kershaw threw a full side session knowing for sure he wasn't coming into that game even with a chance to put away the Diamondbacks in a sweep.
Well, it's the depth that they have in their rotation now with Hill and Wood, and they acquired Yu Darvish. That has changed it completely, where I think for the Dodgers to win this whole thing, get to the World Series and win it, they're going to have great performances from Rich Hill, Yu Darvish, Alex Wood, along with Clayton Kershaw.
Hill will get the ball tomorrow, game 2. 2-2 the count on Almora in the dirt. Picked up by Barnes. 3-2 the count now. Their dominance from the staff. They had the best ERA from their starting staff, best ERA from their bullpen. They led the National League in strikeouts, over 1,500 strikeouts this year. Kershaw individually went over the 2,000 strikeout threshold this season. Alex Wood didn't even pitch in the first round. He was scheduled for game 4. There's a drive in the left field. Almora's watching this one, and it is gone. 2-run home run. Albert Almora.
Number 27, Addison Russell.
He has been bitten by the home run ball all year. Gave up 4 solo homers in his game 1 start against Arizona, and Almora strikes with a 2-run blast.
It's like almost every pitcher in baseball. They've been bitten by this game that has changed into home run derby. And Almora Jr. there jumped all over a cutter and hit it out of the ballpark.
Here's Addison Russell now. He takes a strike.
Kershaw had a game earlier this year where he gave up 4 home runs in a start. So despite getting that win in game 1 against Arizona, he was still touched up.
Kershaw has given up 12 homers in his last 60 innings in the postseason. That is a trend going the wrong way for one of the game's greats. And the Cubs with a big strike early. That's a strike on Russell, unable to check his swing. Albert Almora is really coming of age here for Chicago, gaining confidence from his manager. Gets the start against the lefty, as is usually the case, but he has proven he can handle the big stage. Russell into right field, routine for Puig. And that'll be the first out in the 4th inning.
Trying to come inside. This was a line shot. Got out in about a second. 6 or 7 rows up. He knew it as soon as he hit it.
Yeah, pointing to his dugout. Almora, just 23 years of age, a former first rounder, one of the many first rounders the Cubs line up on their roster. A Florida native. What a big moment for him. Here's Schwarber now. He takes a strike from Kershaw.
Much reaction from this pitch, and I said that Kershaw's a little off so far in this game and did not get that ball down where he wanted.
He's ahead of Schwarber 0-2.
You know, the Cubs, big part of their World Series last year was Dexter Fowler, who led off Game 7 with a home run. They didn't want to pay him, let him go to the Cardinals, and John Jay and Almora Jr. have filled in beautifully.
0-2 to Schwarber. He lays off.
How about Kershaw dropping down, trying something different?
He'll do that every now and then. Something he picked up from his teammate Rich Hill, changing the arm angle, mostly against lefties. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Schwarber had a good swing at it. Kershaw had some deep counts, high pitch count, but stranding a couple of runners in the 1st inning. Bryant reached on a single. Rizzo walked. Kershaw retired the next 2. Then he went 3 up, 3 down in the 2nd, and then left a runner at second base, going through Bryant and Rizzo in the 3rd. Schwarber right off the end of the bat will stay fair. Right next to the bag is Bellinger. Schwarber is retired. 2 gone in the inning now. Almora had 2 hits in the division series against Washington and found one to his liking.
We saw that kind of spray chart where all those pitches were all down and out of the strike zone until that pitch. Middle.
Very warm evening here in Los Angeles. Kershaw taking an extra moment here with 2 away, now facing Baez. Finds a strike zone.
Again, another Cubs hitter barking, pardon the pun, at Lance Barksdale. They think that ball is down.
Baez, a part of this terrific young crop of players that have come up for the Cubs and shined in the postseason. Swing and a miss. Unable to hold it. He saw it, but the bat was gone, and Kershaw ahead of him now. 1-2. 71 pitches for Kershaw as we play in the 4th. Dodger fans trying to help him through this one. The 1-2. He misses.
Catch-22 of being well rested. The flip side of that is sometimes you lose your command when you haven't been out on a mound for that many days. That's where Kershaw is right now.
His last start was Friday week ago. Been 8 days since he's been on the mound as Baez grounds to Forsythe, and that will retire the side. But the Cubs get a big strike from a 23-year-old center fielder, Albert Almora Jr. 2-run blast. The Chicago Cubs have the early lead in Game 1. Inside the NBA is coming back. EJ, Kenny Charles, and Shaq back for NBA on TNT opening night 2017, presented by Auto Trader. Check your local listings. Magic Johnson in the house. Connected to both the Lakers and the Dodgers right now. Jose Quintana back to work now with a 2-0 lead after the Albert Almora homer. 2-run blast for the center fielder. And another home run allowed by Kershaw has the Cubs on top, and Quintana pitching well first time through the batting order. Only giving up the 1 hit. Erase that hit with a double play. So back to the top now, second time through as Chris Taylor leads off. If you're just joining us here and picking up this Dodgers Cubs series, the big story leading into this game was the fact that Corey Seager, their all-star shortstop, is not on the NLCS roster. Shortstop injured his back in game 3. Taylor hits that one high and deep to center field. Almora sizing it up at the wall, makes a catch. Camping out at Camping World. And a long, loud fly ball out for Almora. Or rather for Taylor, beg your pardon. Take a look at tonight's playmakers presented by Alfa Romeo. Justin Turner coming up. And Ronnie, how about his success in the postseason? Look at the names on this list.
I know. When I saw him early in his career, he certainly wasn't this kind of player. He was more of a singles hitter, the guy who didn't do a lot of damage, but he has changed his approach. He's changed his approach to a lot of his teammates, and that is hit the ball in the air, and that has changed his success also.
Turner takes a strike from Quintana. Quintana struck him out in the first inning. Got him on a called strike 3 on an inside corner fastball. Totally different player as a member of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Even the Dodgers weren't expecting this kind of production from Justin Turner, so you give him a lot of credit. He was trying to find a way to change his game, and during his time with the Mets, conversations with Marlon Byrd and Daniel Murphy, among others, started him thinking about the offensive game and the swing in a much different way. And what you notice the most with Turner is a high leg kick at the plate, which he just ditched on that last pitch to Quintana.
Well, he's been trying to generate from the beginning a little more power in his swing, and that was part of it.
Pitchers are now trying to do whatever they can to disrupt the timing of Justin Turner, whether it be the quick step release or some pitchers are pausing at the top, trying to get him off time, which has proven to be a much more difficult challenge. And a strike. Turner again. Well, these are in the box. These are good pitches, but Quintana just finding the corners.
Well, so far both sides do not like the strike zone so far.
Got a backwards K his first time up. See if Quintana goes back in there. Nope. Contreras setting up away. And Turner fouls it away.
That's the leg kick we were talking about. It really is the trigger. You see that body moving forward, and that's where he generates more power in that severe kind of uppercut follow through. Watch his back foot too. He'll bang it down 3 times to make sure he keeps it solid.
Turner is SoCal kid as they get. Grew up a huge Dodger fan. That number 10 on his jersey is paying homage to Ron Say, the Penguin. Played his college ball at Cal State Fullerton. He's from Long Beach. Had some hamstring problems earlier this year. Battled some thumb problems late, but came back, had a great NLDS. And that game 1, first at bat of the division series, when all of these questions are surfacing around the Dodgers. Are they a great team, or were they just a great regular season team? Is this layoff going to give them rust as they begin a series against the red-hot Arizona Diamondbacks? First at bat, Justin Turner launches a 3-run home run in the first inning. And it was on at that point for LA. 2-2 the count on Turner. He fouls another one off. His first 2 at-bats, Turner has fouled off 8 pitches with 2 strikes against Quintana.
And Quintana has really dominated the Dodger lineup, except for Turner.
How many lefties that handle Turner? At 370 this year against lefties. Do it again. Another 2-2 pitch coming inside. Turner pulls it high in the air on a pop-up. Russell is there. And Turner is retired. That's just good pitching by Jose Quintana. Comes right in there.
Number 35.
And Turner can't get the bat to it.
That's 2 times he's retired, and 1 on a called 3rd strike in, and that 1 on a pop-up in. You know, with the aggressive strike zone of Lance Barksdale today, you're going to have to see a lot of these hitters are going to have to adjust and start swinging the bat.
It's an interesting visit to the mound with nobody on base. Contreras brings Baez to the mound. Joe Madden, Davey Martinez. Martinez, the bench coach. Those 2 are together with the Tampa Bay Rays. Here's Bellinger now.
You know, the Dodgers are a great team. They have great depth, but they also got some career years from Bellinger in his rookie season, 39 home runs. Chris Taylor with 21. He only had 1 coming into the season. That's 60 home runs from people you didn't think you were going to get it from.
Now, Bellinger was not on the big league roster when the year began. A number of these players, guys like Taylor, Bellinger, Barnes, coming to the Dodgers as the season unfolded. Adrian Gonzalez with a back injury was not available for the postseason roster, which opened up a spot for Bellinger to play first base, and he's very good at first base. Otherwise, he'd have been in the outfield. But that does free up the Dodgers. I think it gives Dave Roberts, not that you don't want an Adrian Gonzalez bat in your lineup in the postseason, and he had a terrific series against the Cubs last year. But it did pave the way here for Bellinger to play first, settled his outfield down, allowed Andre Ethier to make this postseason roster again. The 1-2, and Bellinger takes a ball. Those 39 homers he hit, Bellinger set a National League record.
It's held by Wally Berg and Frank Robinson.
It's always good to get a Wally Berg
right
mention in. Boston Braves in the National League back in 1930. There's a swing and a miss, and Quintana continues his run here at Dodger Stadium. 3 up and 3 down. He still faced the minimum in Game 1. Back in action here, game 1 of the National League Championship Series. Los Angeles Dodgers, team with the best record in the major leagues this year, 104 wins with their ace on the mound against the Cubs. Cubs winning the National League Central, and then a thrilling series win against the Washington Nationals. And it is Jose Quintana and the Cubs who were on top 2-0. Quintana with a base hit his last time up. And Kershaw makes quick work of him to start the 5th inning. Kershaw could use a quick inning here. He's got a lot of pitches on the board as he begins the 5th.
Well, these are the times to do it, when you have the pitcher leading off the inning.
See some of the numbers as we take a look at inside the numbers presented by SoFi, a modern finance company.
You see a lot of pitchers around baseball. That 3rd time through the lineup, their number usually is around 300 because Kershaw is so great. It's at 242.
John Jay back at the top of the order as the Cubs go 3rd time through the batting order now. Jay is 0 for 1. He struck out in the 1st, dropped a sacrifice bunt down in the 3rd. Now the Dodgers, with their great bullpen as it sets up now, they've got Maeda down there. Of course, they've got the hammer and Kenley Jansen, Brandon Morrow as their setup man. Dave Roberts told us before the game he will not hesitate, even with his ace on the mound, to get into that bullpen early. This is an analytics-driven ball club, as most are these days, but that 3rd time through the order and the batting average 3rd time through matters a lot. And any sign of trouble, it has been Dave Roberts' rhythm to get into that bullpen.
That's Kenta Maeda with the band loosening up.
Kershaw deals to Jay. Lance Barksdale looks like he had a little flinch behind the plate, but he didn't ring him up.
It's almost like he didn't anticipate this kind of drop down by Kershaw, but Barnes really yanked that pitch up in the strike zone.
Emphatic, that's a ball count, and a swing and a foul by Jay keeps it at 2-2.
I really like the way that Joe Madden has constituted this lineup with the left-handers Jay Rizzo and Kyle Schwarber. Why? It doesn't allow Kershaw just to get locked in against right-handed hitters all through the lineup. He's got to still pitch to lefties, then go back to the righties. You don't get locked in on one side.
Schwarber, one of the 3 left-handed hitters in the lineup against Kershaw tonight, and in the division series against the lefties, the Cubs were much better against those left-handed pitchers. 2-2 the count on Jay, and he rifles one foul. Is there any benefit at all for the Cubs to face Kershaw, who's in a league on his own, but face Kershaw in the game after you face Gio Gonzalez, a left-hander with a big curveball?
Well, I think it helps to face the left-handers, and the left-handers like Solis in that series. But what didn't help the Cubs was have to face Strasburg in that series, as he was excellent.
Alaska, if he goes, able to check his swing.
I mean, the Cubs were a lineup that was no hit for 5 2/3 and 6 1/3 by Strasburg and Scherzer respectively, and still won the series.
Coming back against Scherzer, who was coming out of the bullpen in game 5. Kershaw fires, and a ground ball right to Bellinger. John Jay is retired. 2 outs in the inning. And here comes Chris Bryant.
I think the biggest number we've seen so far, two numbers. The 85 pitches so far by Clayton Kershaw, but more importantly, only 4 strikeouts through the lineup.
And 3 of those came in the first 2 innings. Had 3 punch-outs first 8 batters he faced. Kenta Maeda beginning to get loose. That would probably tell you that this is a 6th inning move, because Maeda takes a little while to get ready, and Dave Roberts wants to make sure he gets to that point. He's been a starter all season. Chris Bryant gets a lollipop for a strike.
Dave Roberts, before the game, he really sounded different than any manager that has managed Kershaw before. It was almost, if he doesn't have it, I'm not afraid to make the move.
Yeah, that was my impression. You know, he made no bones about his bullpen as Bryant sends one in the air, shallow center field. Taylor broke back, now coming in, and that's the inning that Kershaw needed. 1-2-3 with a punch out. Dodgers are coming up. They're down 2-0. Kike Hernandez will lead the way. National League Championship Series is presented by Camping World. What a beauty it is. Third oldest ballpark in the major leagues. We're going to get two of the three oldest in this series as we head to Wrigley Field for Game 3. Kike Hernandez will lead off for Los Angeles. Jose Quintana has been fantastic through the first 4 innings, and a 2-0 Cubs lead on an Albert Almora Jr. 2-run homer off Kershaw in the 4th. Dodgers have had 1 base runner. Forsythe with a first pitch single in the 2nd inning. Quintana quickly erased that base hit with a 5-4-3 double play to end the inning. Ronnie touched on it earlier, but the Dodgers in that Diamondbacks series had so much traffic on the bases. They had at least 1 man on in 21 of the 25 innings they played in the division series. And the first 2 games here at Dodger Stadium, they had 30 at-bats with runners in scoring position. They were 10 for 30 in 2 games. Base runners everywhere. High-stress innings against the opposition for the Dodgers in that first series. That has not been the case here tonight.
I still think one of the reasons the Cubs won that series against the Nationals was their ability to keep Trey Turner off the bases early in that series.
Quintana's kept everyone off except for Forsythe. Hernandez takes a ball. 2-2 now on Kike Hernandez. Hernandez was hitless last year against the Cubs in the NLCS. He was 0 for 8. Did walk 3 times. Become much more of a presence this year, and especially with Seager out.
Little grunt there you could hear up here from Quintana, trying to put a little extra on that fastball.
Contreras wants the changeup. And a swing and a foul out in front of it. Weak contact, something that Quintana will get from the opposition when he's right. He is a strike throwing machine as well, and he'll rack up the strikeouts. With the Cubs, he actually upped his strikeouts per 9 and dropped his walks per 9 in his 14 starts in the regular season. There's a wave and a miss. The changeup got him. Strikeout to start the inning. Gives us a chance to check in with Casey Stern in our Atlanta studios. What do you have, Case? Most starting pitchers trying to get to 93 pitches. Verlander throws 93 strikes. What a gutsy performance today. And how about Carlos Correa? 4th inning home run for the Astros, and then he doubled in the game winner. Altuve coming all the way around to score. And the Astros are up 2-0 in that series.
Ball never even made it to the wall. Judge cut it off before it went to the wall. Altuve still scored.
A strike to Forsythe. Maeda still throwing. There is a chance the Dodgers could get to Kershaw's spot in the batting order. They're going to need a couple of base runners. And Dave Roberts is preparing for that. Forsythe hitting 5th in this Dodger order. Played for Joe Maddon, one of Joe Maddon's favorites, as he told us before the game, while they were together with the Tampa Bay Rays. Joe Maddon said, this guy, we noticed when he was a Padre, hit it more bad luck. He was really one of the first guys that we decided we're going to look at exit velocity, batting average balls in play to determine if there's a guy we could strike oil with. And then he comes to the Tampa Bay Rays, and the same thing happens. Continues to hit in bad luck. He draws a walk this time. And a man is on. That is the first base runner for LA since Forsythe reached in the 2nd inning. Technically 8 in a row retired after that double play. But one pass through the batting order before another base runner is on, and it'll be only the 2nd time in this game that he pitches from the stretch.
You know, those meetings between catchers and pitchers have become so casual, and they happen so often that don't be surprised in the next couple of years that all of those are limited to a certain number for both ball clubs.
Austin Barnes will bat with a man on and one away. 2-0 Cubs on an Almora homer, and Quintana deals a strike. Barnes has played his way from fringe major leaguer, 3rd catcher, backup catcher, platoon catcher. Now he looks like he's the starting catcher with Grandal struggling at the plate. And he gets the call here in game 1 with Kershaw on the mound. Extremely versatile player too. He was an infielder as an amateur coming up in his early career as well. He's caught 55 games this year. He's also played 21 games at second base. What a weapon to have a catcher who can bounce around. They're carrying 3 catchers, the Dodgers. Kyle Farmer is the 3rd catcher. He is a former shortstop as well. Nice luxury for Dave Roberts to have. As Barnes takes a strike. 1-2.
Barnes didn't like it. You have to be very careful if you're Forsythe on first base, because what has happened that we saw in game 5 of Wilson Contreras, he's the best in baseball right now throwing behind the runner. He and Rizzo have like a symbiotic relationship on getting that ball down there and tagging runners out.
during the regular season. Forsythe not a base stealing threat by any means, just 3 bags. He was caught twice. Quintana rarely has that pick you off throw to first, so most of it, even though he throws over there a lot, just to let you know that he's thinking about you. Barnes takes a ball, 2-2 the count. Yasiel Puig due up next. Dodgers trying to get something going for the first time here tonight. Only their second base runner of the game.
Well, this is the first time we've seen a little lack of control from Quintana. If you're pitching to score, you've got a 2-run lead. You've got to challenge Barnes with something down in the strike zone. With Puig up next, I don't think you can run Forsythe. You can't have a strike him out, throw him out.
Now Barnes hit 8 home runs during the regular season. He did hit a homer in the National League Division Series against Arizona. Played in all 3 games, was a pinch hitter in game 1, got a base hit. And in the first round, Barnes with 4 hits, including a double and a homer, drove in 3. Full count. Forsythe at first. Stays put. Barnes takes ball 4. 2 men are on. Back-to-back walks. And here comes Yasiel Puig. Joe Madden immediately went to Chris Bosio. He's going to make a trip to the mound.
Just kills a pitching coach and a team when your pitcher is rolling along. And Barnes and Forsythe, they have some pop, but you wouldn't think of them as power hitters. So at some point you have to challenge them. He wasn't able to. 2 walks. Now you got a guy up who has a lot of power.
Chris Bosio, terrific pitching coach. Only holdover as Joe Madden took over. He was with Dale Swain when Swain managed Chicago. He's trying to minimize his trips to the mound. He is making these trips on a fractured right ankle, which is going to require surgery at the end of the year.
I was asking him, he said now because of the ankle, he's wearing a boot. His knee's killing him.
To a no-hitter in the big leagues, Bosio. See if his words of encouragement to Quintana will pay off. Now Quintana knows Puig is a threat, but Puig bounced into 21 double plays in the regular season as well. And if there is a way out of the inning, the ground ball double play might do it. And Puig lays off.
And now Contreras, the catcher, talking to Barksdale behind the plate. They're going at it.
In the dirt, Contreras blocks it, keeps the runners at bay. Quintana suddenly, after back-to-back walks, has lost the strike zone. He's fallen behind 2-0. And Puig does a dance at home plate. We saw a lot of that in the division series.
The Cubs and Contreras got lucky there. He tried the backhand on that breaking ball, and it stayed in front of him or stayed close enough. That ball could have went to the backstop.
Hector Rondon is loosening in the Cubs bullpen. They just put him back on the postseason roster. Took Justin Wilson off. And Rondon, a former closer, is getting hot quick. 2-0 Cubs. Dodgers threatening here in the home half of the 5th. Puig in a hitter's count. And he takes a strike. One thing that is noticeable about Puig from the regular season to the postseason, saw a little over 3.5 pitches per plate appearance in the regular season. That has been upped to near 6 in the postseason. He is really grinding out at bats, averaging 5.7 plus pitches per plate appearance. The 4th one of this plate appearance coming, and Puig in the air, left center, and he's gonna get down to the base of the wall. Forsythe is in. They'll hold. Barnes at 3rd. It's an RBI double for Yasiel Puig, and the Dodgers are on the board.
Trying to climb up and in. Puig knew they hit it hard enough to hit the gap, and this is what you get, some of the histrionics from Puig, but a big run that he drives in. Luckily, it hit the wall and bounced right back to Almora Jr. or Barnes would have scored.
Saw Puig in the last series bat flip a single. Now he bat flips a double. He's got the Dodgers in business. Corner infielders in. 2nd and 3rd, 1 away. Charlie Culberson, wouldn't you know it, steps in to a bright spotlight right now. Spent most of the year in AAA, was a September call-up in the starting lineup with Corey Seager off the LCS roster with a back injury.
You got some speed at 3rd. You have Culberson who could handle the bat. Don't be surprised at a little safety squeeze here with Kershaw on deck.
2-1, Cubs lead it. Dodgers on the board for the first time. Coming inside, Culberson takes a strike. 0-2 the count. Is this a called shot, Ron?
Oh,
I think that's a called shot.
I thought we were only supposed to leave that for number 3 100 years ago.
I mean, Babe Ruth at Wrigley Field called a shot, did he not? Different venue, same opponent.
I guess you can do it if you can pull it off.
Puig carries the go-ahead run at 2nd now. Culberson in the air to left. That's deep. That's plenty deep to score. Austin Barnes. Schwarber's throw will come to 3rd base, and this game is tied.
Well, the ball's deep to Schwarber. No chance as he gets the ball back in. And Culberson, who you didn't even know was going to be on the roster, comes through with a sacrifice fly. And the biggest fan, Yasiel Puig.
So Kershaw will be sent back. His day is done. A handshake from his manager, Kyle Farmer. That aforementioned 3rd catcher on this roster will bat. Runner at 2nd base with 2 away. And Farmer is in. Farmer only got 1 at bat in the division series. Was up in an early pinch hitting role in a very similar situation as this. Chance to drive in a run. Farmer struck out in his lone at bat. Closed the book on Kershaw.
Clayton Kershaw taken out of a tie game in the 5th inning.
Maeda warming last inning in the bullpen. Cingrani has joined him. Anthony Rizzo is set to lead off for the Cubs, and you would figure Cingrani's got that matchup.
I'm shocked by the takeout of Kershaw. I know he hasn't been Kershaw-like, but a tie game, 2 outs, runner on 2nd.
5 innings, gives up 2 earned runs, the 2-run home run off the bat of Albert Almora Jr. Well, as we said, Dave Roberts will not hesitate to get into his very talented bullpen that had the best ERA in the National League this season. Swing and a miss. Farmer. 1 ball, 1 strike.
On the day we saw Justin Verlander throw a complete game with 124 pitches. Clayton Kershaw taken out of a tie game with 87.
It's got nothing to do with pitch count, right? This has everything to do with matchup. 3rd time through. Who's coming up? Cubs have the middle of their order coming up in the 6th inning. Roberts is making a play for some offense here with 2 outs. Puig carries the go-ahead run. Farmer on the ground right to the Gold Glover Rizzo. And that will retire the side, but 55,000 up and loud now as the Dodgers tie it up. Charlie Culberson with the sac fly.
Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Yasiel Puig with an RBI double. Charlie Culberson with a sac fly to tie this game. Jose Quintana running into a little trouble in the bottom of the 5th. We're all even at 2 in game 1 of this NLCS, and now we begin the march with the relievers for Dave Roberts. First up, Tony Cingrani, the former Cincinnati closer.
Well, Cingrani did a little of everything for the Reds in his career. Started, relieved, closed. He's thrown a lot of sliders since coming over as a reliever for the Dodgers. 2 Tonys out there, Cingrani and Watson.
Anthony Rizzo starts it for the Cubs. Rizzo, Contreras, and Almora. Almora hit the 2-run homer that put Chicago on the board first. Kenta Maeda still loosening in the bullpen. Could be a one and done for Cingrani. We'll see how Roberts wants to play it. And Rizzo takes a strike. It's going to be a very familiar matchup here. Cingrani against Anthony Rizzo from their time in the National League Central together. Rizzo has 19 career at-bats against Cingrani. 4 for 19. Jammed him. That is a fair ball. Bellinger will take it to the bag for out number 1. And it might be one and done for Cingrani. Here comes the Dodgers skipper, and Roberts is going to make the play. Here comes Maeda. He is their best weapon against right-handed batters, and the Cubs have 3 coming up. Cingrani gets Rizzo, and he's out. First inning single to Bryant, and then it was Jose Quintana with a base hit, the Cubs pitcher, and then the 2-run fourth. Contreras singled to set up Almora's 2-run home run. That was with nobody out in the 4th inning, but the Dodgers come back and answer with 2 in the bottom of the 5th inning to tie this game. Kershaw is out. Cingrani gets Rizzo, and now here comes Maeda.
Well, Maeda down the stretch, they used him in the bullpen. Of course, he's been a starting pitcher since coming to the Dodgers, but much better in this role. Has a little more on his fastball, a little harder slider, and he's a guy that can give you some length also out of the bullpen.
Maeda, 29 years of age, 2nd year with the Dodgers after 8 dominant years in Japan for the Hiroshima Carp. Never pitched in relief until this season. Those 4 games Ronnie referenced. Had a clean 8th inning, setting up Jansen in Game 3 of the division series, the clincher for the Dodgers. He punched out 2 in that clean 8th as well, and he dominates right-handed batters, and he's got 3 in a row coming up for the Cubs. Contreras on the first pitch, gets that slider, and there is out number 2. Two gone. How about we look at StatCast, powered by Amazon Web Services. The missile off the bat of Albert Almora Jr. 106.3 miles an hour off the bat.
It's over 100 miles an hour. It's over 20 degrees launch angle. Probably got to rub up a new one.
Almora with his first postseason home run this year. Had a couple of hits in the division series against Washington. These two have not faced Maeda. Right-handed batters this year against Maeda. A .214 batting average. His velocity is up a couple of ticks out of the bullpen.
Well, what's interesting about Maeda is that if you saw him as a starter, and the catcher didn't always have enough fingers to put down for the different pitches he would throw, but really more of a fastball slider guy out of the bullpen.
On the ground to third, ate him up. Bobbled by Turner. Recovers in time to get the out. Cingrani and Maeda make it a clean 1-2-3 inning. Dodgers coming up, bottom of the 6th, all tied. Beautiful Dodger Stadium. Game 1 of the National League Championship Series. It's all tied up here. Dodgers getting 2 in the bottom of the 5th. Here we go to the 6th inning with the top of the order coming up. Chris Taylor leads off. New pitcher in the game for Chicago. A reliever scorned. Hector Rondon back on the postseason roster again.
Yeah, wasn't on the roster against the Nationals. 61 games to see that 69 strikeouts. Big arm on the right-hander.
And Taylor in the air to right center field. That ball's well hit. Almora's on the run. He's at the wall. Goodbye.
Big arm from Rondon, but everything is hard. Fastball away and covered by Chris Taylor. 21 home runs in the regular season, 72 RBI. Continues here in the postseason.
Boy, what a moment for him. Taylor gives the Dodgers a 3-2 lead. And Rondon just into the game trying to prove it was a mistake to leave him off the DS roster. Immediately gives up the long ball, hit a mile into right center field. Justin Turner now. Chris Taylor in his first 3 years of Major League play hit 1 homer. This year 21. Breakout season for him. And strikes again for Los Angeles. 2-0 to Turner.
That was one of those that you don't usually see from Turner. He kind of just guessed fastball and was going to get it started early. And those innings by Rondon this year, 10 home runs allowed, and another one here in the post.
Two and 1 to Turner. 2-2 now. Turner's 0 for 2. Dodgers get 2 in the bottom of the 5th. Cingrani and Maeda retire the side in order in the 6th inning. Keeps this crowd jumping, keeps them loud. And right away Taylor launches one into right center field. Cubs bullpen in the division series, their ERA was 6.75. They got great work from their starters. Their bullpen was a major question mark.
So one manager takes out his left-hander after 5 innings, and his bullpen gets through the inning. Other manager does not.
Full count to Turner.
You know, when I look at the game this year, Brian, and I know you see as many as I do, not only how far home runs are going, but the opposite field home run has become commonplace.
Swings going that direction, big swings. Nobody hits more fastballs away out than Chris Taylor, and he just hit a big home run on a fastball away. So he is an electrifying player, Taylor. As you see Montgomery in the bullpen now. One of the, among all of the disadvantages of losing a Corey Seager, one of the main struggles the Dodgers had with that notion is the fact that their top 4 in the batting order, which was locked in late May, which turned them into this juggernaut team, moved them into this nifty 50 mark where they won 43 games in a 50-game window. A lot of that, as Dave Roberts would say, has to do with because he settled into that top 4 in the lineup with Taylor at the top. There's a swing and a miss. Taylor chases one out of the zone. He's claiming he fouled it off. And Turner, I beg your pardon, strikeout for the first out of the inning. And now Joe Madden is on his way. Got the left-hander Bellinger coming up, so a double switch for Joe Madden. And Hector Rondon, who That worked as a closer the last 3 years for the Cubs. His debut in the 2017 postseason, the last 2 batters. Zobrist is going to be on the other end of the double switch. And Almora, who hit the 2-run homer, he is coming out. Almora made the last out of the 6. We'll set it all up when we come back. New pitcher in, Montgomery to face Bellinger. By Camping World. Pitching change for the Cubs. It's a double switch for Joe Madden. And the left-hander Mike Montgomery is on to face Cody Bellinger.
Well, you talked about that ERA for the Cubs bullpen at 6.75. Montgomery is part of that too. He gave up the 3-run home run to Ryan Zimmerman that won that game in Washington. Montgomery, 14 starts he made this year. So he's one of those guys also, like Maeda for the Dodgers, who can give the Cubs, or has to give the Cubs, some length.
With Zobrist in the game, they move John Jay to center field. Zobrist will play right. Keeps Schwarber in left. Almora's out of the game. Cody Bellinger at the plate. Bellinger hit an opposite field home run in Game 3 of the division series against Arizona, becoming the youngest Dodger to homer in a postseason game, passing Corey Seager, who set that mark last year. Bellinger lays off. Remember, Bellinger hit more homers off left-handed pitchers this year than any other big league player, big league left-handed hitter. 12 homers against left-handed pitching this season. 2-1 Montgomery, and that one's in there. Strike 2-2 now.
And the Cubs bullpen so far has had difficulty keeping the ballpark in the yard.
4 home runs in the postseason. Madden's bullpen is allowed a solo shot, 2-run, 3-run, and of course the grand slam. Michael Taylor hit that grand slam in Game 4. Major question marks about those leading up to Wade Davis. Starting this LCS, Rondon's one of them, Montgomery's one of them, Carl Edwards Jr. is one of them. There are no question marks about their closer, Wade Davis, as Bellinger tops one foul.
There might be one question, and that is if he's available tonight.
Good point.
The 7-out save he got 2 nights ago.
As gutsy of a performance out of the bullpen as you could have. High stress, and help get the Cubs to this NLCS. You're right. How much would Joe Madden ask out of him tonight if they're in a position? We shall see. Montgomery deals and a bullet into right field. Bellinger with a base hit. I'll tell you, Ron, it looked like Baez was making a move towards second base for some reason, and Bellinger hit it right by where he was standing.
Well, one of the things about defensive positioning is sometimes as a player, you feel as though you have a feeling where the ball's going to be. He takes 3 steps to his right, the ball's hit to his left. That's exactly where he was before. So the people who do the charts defensively are probably looking at that and saying, whoa, what are you thinking? But defensive players a lot get feelings about what a hitter is going to do against a certain pitcher. Baez gets wrong there.
Wow. 2 steps and it cleared space for Bellinger. Hit it right on the nose. And the Dodgers now with a man on with 1 away. Home run by Chris Taylor has put Los Angeles on top here in the 6th inning. And now it's Kike Hernandez.
You know, I can almost understand what Baez is thinking, okay? He knew a fastball was coming, and that's why he moved to his right. He thought Bellinger wouldn't be able to pull it. But in a 3-2 count, you can't do that because it really switches back to the hitter. He's looking fastball, and that's why Bellinger was able to pull it to his left. Behind in the count, I think that's a good decision.
Good call.
I mean, that's a lot of steps to move out of the original position, especially when it would have been a line drive out.
Easy in hindsight. This guy makes plays all year long with instincts, feeling where a ball might be hit. It's actually an amazing skill he has, but that time didn't work out. Most of the great defenders have that skill. As Montgomery misses, now it's 3-0. Two hits in the inning. Second pitcher of the inning, Montgomery. Who had a big cut. How about a green light for Kike Hernandez? 3-0.
You know, throughout watching that 5-game series against Washington, other than Wade Davis, and he even gave up a grand slam to Michael A. Taylor, Joe's decisions, each decision to go to the bullpen, have not been working.
It's been a rough go for Montgomery as he checks on the runner at first. Montgomery giving up a hit to Bellinger, so his last 6 batters faced here in the postseason, he's given up 3 hits, 2 walks. He's gotten only 1 out. What he would love right here is 2 outs with 1 swing of the bat. Looking for something on the ground from Hernandez, who hits one in the air to right field. That's a long run. Zobrist just in, will make the catch for out number 2. Coming back from 3-0 down, a significant out for Montgomery.
Huge out for the Cubs and Montgomery. That is the one thing you've seen all postseason that you didn't see from Montgomery last year. Got the last out, of course, of the World Series. Said his control has been just a bit off. Pitching in a lot of hitters' counts.
Logan Forsythe now. Normally a very patient hitter. Remember, he was aggressive in the second, had a first pitch swing and a single off Jose Quintana. Quintana faced the minimum through the first 4 innings before giving up 2 runs in the 5th and out of the game after 5. Both starters are gone. 5 innings apiece, 2 runs apiece. Chris Taylor and Charlie Culberson grinding on the nails, both driving in runs. Fitting that Charlie Culberson, with all the news surrounding him today, is the man who drove in the tying run with the sacrifice fly.
Well, you never know when you're going to get your chance. You always have to be ready.
Hitting coach Turner Ward. 2 outs in the inning. Montgomery trying to get the Cubs back on offense. Bellinger will run. Had 10 steals in the regular season, only caught 3 times. If the Dodgers do want to get some runners in motion, more importantly, Bellinger is fast and he can score on a gapper, a hit down the line. He can go first to third.
was interesting seeing Bellinger's eyes. He was trying to take a peek in to see if he could see the signs of Contreras. Be more apt to run if you see the call for a breaking ball. He's telling the coach at third base, give me the signs again. I didn't see him the first time. Chris Woodward obliged.
No balls and a strike on Forsythe. Has a single and a walk. Woodward gets him from the dugout. See how they want to play it here. A ball and a strike. Could see Bellinger in motion. Forsythe has such good command of the strike zone. Plate discipline, they call it. You figure he'd have a chance to put a ball in play if need be. That one's down and in. That would have been a pitch to run on. Contreras does a good job to keep it in front.
Spike curve spiked into the ground from Montgomery, and that lateral movement of Contreras keeps it in front.
Two and two now. Forsythe in his 7th year in the big leagues, his first ever postseason. Started in the first 2 games of the division series. Been in a platoon with Chase Utley, but he did start against a right-handed starter, Taijuan Walker, in game 1 of the division series. Runner goes. Pitch is outside from his knees. The throw to second. Safe. Whoa. That will most certainly be looked at, but what a throw by Contreras. Yikes. From his knees.
Good jump first by Bellinger. He looks in, and the tag and the slide. Javi Baez with the best tag in the business. Contreras makes like Benito Santiago off his knees with that throw.
It's going to be close here. Madden is asking for a review. He's going to challenge you. Look at the catch, the tag. I don't know. I think he got a toe in. That's as close as you can get it. And the skill of Baez to make that catch right on the body. I think the toe was in there. But we'll see. Remember, in the postseason, managers get an extra challenge. They get 2 challenges. And Joe Matt not afraid to use this one. Crew chief Mike Winters is over. Calling umpire as well.
You know how you know it's a close play? Is when the people in the stands have seen it 3 or 4 times and there's still no reaction. I think he's safe also. I think the play on the field has got to stand.
Well, it's called safe, which is important on a play like this, because the call on the field, there has to be conclusive evidence to overturn a call like this. So.
Javi Baez does something, though, that is so unique, and that is most infielders reach for the ball. He lets it travel as far as he can. Ball moves quicker than your glove, and that's why he's one of the best guys at tagging runners. Bellinger should have been easily safe if he reached for the ball. Instead, he let it travel late, and by the time he gets him into his midsection, I think he had a toe in.
That last look is the best look. You see the impact of the foot. It's bang, bang here. I mean, this is about the length of the spike on the shoe. But the impact with the shoe now and then the tag there. I don't see how they could overturn it, but you never know. Eric Cooper is the replay umpire. He is in Chelsea, New York. And he is at the replay review center. Cooper, if it goes 7 games, will have the plate, and the call comes down safe. And the language of the call stands would tell you there's not enough information to overturn that. Had it been a clear safe call, they would have used the phrase confirmed.
What a great job by Bellinger. Not only to get the great jump against the great arm of Contreras, the tag of Baez, and he also looked in and still stole the base.
So changes this at bat for Forsythe now. Runner at second base with 2 away. By the way, Bellinger talked about his 10 steals during the regular year. He is now 5 for 5 stolen bases against left-handed pitching this season. Down and in. Contreras scoops it up, and a walk for Forsythe. First and second with 2 outs.
That's 3 walks now in the last 2 innings by Cubs pitching.
Here comes Austin Barnes. Starting to get into the part of the order where the Dodgers did damage in Game 2 of the division series. StatCast powered by AWS. Pop time of 1:92, which is incredible off the knees for a catcher.
Bellinger so well schooled, slid to the outside of the bag, just sliding to the outside of the bag, got him that steal.
Here is Barnes with 2 on, and on the first pitch, a fly ball into right. This is going to get Montgomery and the Cubs out of the inning. Side is retired, but damage done. First batter up, Chris Taylor. 21 home runs in the regular season. Launches one out to give Los Angeles a 3-2 lead. Tune in for Golden State Warriors specials, playoff playbacks, and more as we celebrate Champions Day on NBA TV. Check your local listings. Here we are in Game 1 of the National League Championship Series. Kenta Maeda back on the mound. Addison Russell on the first pitch. Fly ball to left. Hernandez is there. 1 pitch and 1 out. And now Dave Roberts has a decision to make with the left-handed hitting Schwarber coming up.
He's not moving.
The fielder, Kyle Schwarber.
Brandon Morrow is loosening in the bullpen. The Dodgers setup man. Basically, Maeda, Morrow, Jansen, they can give you up to 12, 13 outs to get to the finish line. And here comes Doc. He's going to make the move. Maeda is his right-handed specialist and does his job here tonight. Maeda retires the 3 right-handers he faces, and now with 8 outs to get, Brandon Morrow is coming in. Pitching change at Dodger Stadium. Los Angeles leading the Chicago Cubs 3-2. Cubs Dodgers. John Lester against Rich Hill. 7:30 p.m. Eastern is airtime. And then game 3, we go to Wrigley Field, Chicago after an off day Monday. Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern is the start time for game 3. It'll be Yu Darvish against Kyle Hendricks for the Chicago Cubs. Cubs are going to go Hendricks and Arrieta in the first 2 games at Wrigley Field, games 3 and 4. So here's Brandon Morrow now. He has functioned as the setup man for the Dodgers and functioned very well as the setup man for Los Angeles.
Well, it's nice to see him kind of restructure his career. Came up and had so much promise as a starting pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays, but could never stay healthy. And now here for the Dodgers as the setup man.
Kyle Schwarber will bat. If you're wondering why the right-hander for the right-hander to face the left-hander Schwarber, Morrow is Dave Roberts' second best reliever at this point. High velocity pitcher as well. His first bullet is 99 miles an hour.
Yeah, he can throw hard. He can cut it. He has been good in the postseason except for one pitch. He gave up a 3-run home run to Drury.
And Schwarber with a big swing. Another 99 mile an hour fastball. And it's quickly 1-1.
Only thing countering this is that Kyle Schwarber speed does not eliminate him.
Schwarber getting the start in left field tonight against Kershaw. Madden wanted his bat in there, and Schwarber, a little half swing. Did he go? He checked his swing. 2-1 the count.
Real hard slider, almost cutter from Morrow. Good job by Schwarber holding up. That just takes strength there.
Schwarber hit 30 homers this year. Both of these players spent time in the minor leagues this season. And a high fly ball to center. Routine for Taylor. 2 outs. Hey, just a reminder, you can head over to TBS Facebook and Twitter to watch the bottom of the 7th inning live with Casey Stern, Gary Sheffield, Pedro, and Jimmy Rollins. Dodger Stadium, Los Angeles. Game 1 of the National League Championship Series, a rematch from last season's NLCS, won by the Cubs. First time we've had a rematch in the NLCS since 2009, as Baez with a swing and a miss. Dodgers Phillies 08 and 09. Hard to get back to this point, and these two teams doing it in back-to-back years. Matter of fact, the Dodgers are back for the 3rd time in the last 5 years.
Just straight over the top gas for Morrow. Didn't give up any home runs in the regular season. That one he gave up to Drury in the NLDS against Arizona.
1 ball, 1 strike. Baez, a swing and a miss. 90 mile an hour slider from Morrow.
He has that big motion. He really closes with that front shoulder. The hitter only sees his back. The number 17.
Fastball up. Barnes once. Morrow deals. Baez. Foul pop. Headed for the seats, and that'll be in the camera well. Baez stays alive. Not only did Morrow not allow a home run in the regular season, he did not allow an extra base hit to a right-handed batter from the 4th of July to the end of the season.
Kind of had the kind of season that Wade Davis would have when he was the 8th inning man for the Kansas City Royals, setting up Greg Holland behind Kelvin Herrera.
Davis and Strope watching on. 2-strike pitch. This time Baez doesn't bite. Brandon Morrow, Dodger fans know his story well. He is a type 1 diabetic, and this guy is an incredible story how he's been able to manage diabetes, perform at this level. Hasn't always been a smooth path. As a matter of fact, he struggled in AAA to start the year, and only because of a clause in his contract where he had to be in the big leagues at a certain date did the Dodgers decide to go ahead and bring him up and give him a chance. Or did they find something? Did he go? He did. Baez strikes out, and Brandon Morrow locks it down in the 7th inning. 3-2 Dodgers. Stretch time. Time here at Dodger Stadium. We're headed to the bottom of the 7th. Los Angeles tying the game in the 5th, taking the lead on a Chris Taylor home run in the bottom of the 6th inning, 3-2. And now Ron Darling, Dave Roberts is right where he wants to be with a lead late and this very good bullpen the rest of the way.
Well, the thing about the bullpen, I think the last few seasons when we've seen the Dodgers come into the postseason, what was their problem? The bridge to Kenley Jansen. He's been great for seasons. But this year they kind of experimented. In the beginning of the year, Pedro Baez was a guy who was a bridge. He didn't even make the roster for the NLCS. But now with Morrow, with Maeda going into the bullpen, boy, has it changed.
No Pedro Baez, no Joe Blanton. Maeda gives him that extra punch, and Morrow will certainly be heading back out. Kenley Jansen is always a closer that you can ask 2 innings out of if need be. Puig leads away. Yasiel with an RBI double in the 5th inning. Put the Dodgers on the board for the first time. And that one is hit high and deep to left field. Schwarber can't find it, and he's at the wall. It's gone! Just over the fence. A wall scraper. And Yasiel Puig has given the Dodgers a 2-run lead.
Another home run given up by the Cubs bullpen. Fastball right there, and Puig hit it so high. You didn't know if he had enough legs, but it kept traveling. And I've played a million games here. The ball never travels at night, and that one carried.
Culberson now, curveball misses. Yasiel Puig is having a great postseason as Schwarber got stuck on the wall, and it just clears. Yasiel Puig with his very first postseason home run, and Ronnie, he has driven in 2 runs in 3 different games in this postseason, and he's coming out for his own curtain call. I don't know if they really wanted him to come out, but he comes out anyway. Tongue wagging and all.
He probably said, hey, people, that deserved. You know, I think the thing about Puig, you have to remember, put it in time and space. There was a lot of talk this winter what to do with Puig, what to get rid of him, that he never was going to live up to his promise. Dave Roberts said, leave him to me. In spring training, he'll be my pet project. I'll get him right. Boy, has he.
Got to give Turner Ward a lot of credit. His hitting coach. I'm sure Yasiel Puig is looking for a way to sneak up on his hitting coach. Puig did not hit left-handed pitching well at all this year. Hit just 183 in the regular season against lefties. In the postseason this year, that's his 4th hit against a lefty. He's 4 for 6, and now a home run, his first postseason homer of his career.
Talked about the bomb that Montgomery gave up to Ryan Zimmerman, the 3-run home run that won it for Washington.
Culberson, a liner in the left field, a base hit. Culberson thinking about 2, and he's on his way. Schwarber's throw is late. It's a double. Charlie Culberson, the late ad. He's got a sac fly, and now a double here in the 7th inning.
Well, Schwarber gets to it in time, and there would have been a play at second with an accurate throw. But it takes him a while to get a grip on the baseball, and by the time he gets that grip, the throw is wild.
It's going to be Brandon Morrow to bat here. Used to be a starting pitcher with the Blue Jays, time with the Mariners, but his at-bats have been few and far between. First at-bat since the 2015 season, and he's up there to either stand there with a table leg in his hand or try to get a bunt down.
No, that's why Chris Woodward called him down. He gave him the bunt sign. Runner on second, no outs. Of course, a pitcher in this situation is going to bunt. Another look at the homer. Never got it there, and Puig is just so strong. Now, I was mentioning before, and I exaggerated about how many games I've been here, but I've never seen the ball carry late at night here. It just doesn't.
It's hot.
And it has this year. It's warmer than ever.
Right. Warm. South breeze is blowing. And the ball is traveling so well here at Dodger Stadium. Yasiel Puig, I mean, as much as we love watching him play, as entertaining as he can be, if that ball falls inside the wall and he's Cadillacing, that's a single when he should have been at second, maybe even third base on that. Morrow trying to get a bunt down. It is down. That's a beauty. Rizzo's throw is just in time. And the first ever sacrifice bunt for Brandon Morrow comes in a postseason game. In the postseason, I should say.
It's not a sacrifice bunt because Charlie Culberson decided not to move.
That's my bad. I was so excited about the bunt.
No, the bunt was perfect, but the thing that the Cubs have is that Rizzo charges the ball so well that you have to bunt either behind him because he's going to make the play at third. That's why Culberson was afraid of going, but he should have went, obviously, because it was a almost perfect bunt by Morrow.
Well, my mistake, short change in there. He got the bunt down, and Cubs played it beautifully.
This should be a bunt that you can move forward with, but with the Rizzo and his aggressiveness, Culberson was afraid to go to third base and get out of scoring position.
Top of the order now. Here's Chris Taylor. Well, how many first basemen can make that play? How often do you even see first baseman try to make that play with a bunt down that side?
We saw that in the National Series. Steven Strasburg, how he combated that. He bunted behind Rizzo. So as he's charging towards third, bunt like you would to first base side. Once it's behind him, he has no play. The pitcher's got to make the play. That's something that you think the advanced scouting would have known.
Chris Taylor stepped up in the 6th inning in a 2-2 tie. a 1-0 pitch. He launched one out to right center. Got a fastball from Rondon and hits a bomb out of here. Taylor's first postseason homer. Chris was on the Stay Hot camp last year. There's the kiss from Yasiel Puig. Tradition after home runs. Cody Bellinger saying, hey, run that out next time, man. Now he won't leave him alone the rest of the inning. One away, and that's a shot to short. Russell, what a play. Throw to first, not in time. Heck of a play by Russell, but that'll go as an infield hit. Taylor's second hit of the game, and now it's first and second with one away.
So they've had a perfect bunt, and now an infield base hit, and Culberson is still on second base. But what an athletic play by Russell. Just couldn't get enough on the throw or the accuracy. The athleticism of the middle infielders for the Chicago Cubs is as good as any in baseball.
Dodgers threatening in a big way once again. Joe Maddon going to be forced to go back to his bullpen. Trailing by 2 now. Be another double switch, and look who's ready to come in. John Lackey. There was some talk he might get a start here today. Yasiel Puig with a home run to start the inning. And it is a 4-2 Dodger lead as Joe Maddon goes to Lackey. Pitching change at Dodger Stadium. 2 on with 1 away. We'll set up Lackey after this. Championship Series is presented by Camping World. Brian Anderson, Ron Darling, Sam Ryan, our producer Scott Cockrell. Tonight's game directed by Matt Lipp. John Lackey is on to pitch for the Chicago Cubs. It has been a while since Lackey was last on the mound.
Yeah, October 1st, and he pitched in relief, but 31 games this year, 30 of them starts. Gave 12-12 record. 27 times he's appeared in the postseason. 23 of those starts for John Lackey.
Got the double switch here. Baez is out. Ian Happ will come into play second base.
Because of the bullpen situation 2 nights ago, Wade Davis getting 7 outs. To me, this seems like a game that John Lackey's got to finish up in relief for the Cubs, and to see if they'll hit themselves back into it.
Yasiel Puig started the inning with a home run. His first career postseason homer. Now has 6 RBIs in 4 postseason games this season. First postseason relief appearance for Lackey since the 2013 World Series. Lackey and those around him hinting that this could be his last year. Kershaw, the starter, went 5 innings, giving up 2 runs. Justin Turner, and a base hit. Culberson is going to try to score. Throw to the plate, 1 hop in, the tag, he is out at the plate. No call right away, which would tell you that Lance Barksdale thought he didn't touch the plate. Contreras kept the tag on him, and out is the call. Boy, what a throw in left field. Schwarber coming up with a gun.
Well, first base hit here by Turner in the hole. Culberson around the bag, and the 1 hopper from Schwarber. Look at the foot of Contreras.
Yeah.
He blocked the hand of Culberson.
That's a great call by the home plate umpire. The next question will be, did he have the ball in his glove when he blocked the plate, which is illegal now?
He did not. He did not have it. He had the foot out, giving Culberson no avenue into the plate before he had the baseball. This one's going to be looked at.
Going to go to review. They could overturn this. So you have to give a lane to score a run if you're a catcher.
So an amazing athletic play by Wilson Contreras, and Schwarber has a chance to be taken away because of the silliest of rules.
Rule that was put in place to try to minimize collisions at home plate. Catchers can still block the plate at their own risk, but they have to have the baseball. And the determining factor here is, did he have the ball? There is another caveat to this rule too. You've seen a lot of games. If you're moving into the baseline to catch the ball, that can also bring you in. But clearly Contreras sticks the foot out to try to prevent Culberson from scoring.
And I don't think Culberson got his finger there. So that's a good call by Barksdale. Now we'll see on review if it's the proper play by Contreras.
Eric Cooper, the replay umpire in New York. Calling umpire is Lance Barksdale, who was correct in deeming that Culberson did not touch home plate. He did not issue a call, and Contreras noticed that. Immediately sprinted over to Culberson to tag him out.
So what can happen is if the trajectory of the ball brings you into the runner. But clearly, to me, the intention by Contreras was to make sure that he blocked the hand of Culberson by moving that foot in the area of the plate before Culberson got there.
What was thought as a great skill play by a catcher for
100 years,
decades, centuries in Major League Baseball is now
under review.
Question here. This is going to be a very interesting decision.
Because what would happen there if Contreras did not put that foot out early and caught the ball in the proper trajectory and then reached to tag? Culberson would have been safe. His hand would have had a path to touch the plate. I mean, I think this is going to be taken away from the Cubs and Contreras, and I hate it because it's a great play. All Culberson had to do is run from second to home. Schwarber had to field it. He had to throw a perfect throw, and Contreras had to make the greatest of catching athletic play.
Catching a short hop with a mitt, and they're going to call it safe.
Knew it.
Wow. The Dodgers add to their lead. And Joe Madden, rightly so, is out of his mind. But by the letter of the rule book, you got to give him a lane. He didn't. Every old school catcher who ever played this game
just shut the TV off.
Losing their mind
just
right
shut
now.
the TV
and now
off.
Madden's been thrown out. You cannot argue a reversal, a review without being ejected to this degree. And Madden,
it's a bad rule. It's always been a bad rule, and it rears its ugly head in the first game of the championship series.
Talking about an old catcher right here, longtime catching instructor with the Angels as well. This is a guy that knows the catching position, but as mad as he is, he represents all those who have appreciated the way catchers have gone about their business, but that's not the rule anymore.
You're right, Brian, but the one word you left out, it's by the letter of a bad law. That's what it is. It is the letter of the law. It's a letter of a bad law, because it was a great athletic play by Contreras.
Wow.
And the rule allows him to be safe. I understand that. But boy, you want to take that out of the game? Yeah. Come on.
Rule 713. If you want to go dig that up yourself. Article 2. Wow. Run is in. 5-2. Here's Bellinger. 2 on now for the Dodgers. Charlie Culberson thought he was a dead duck. He thought it was going to be a sure out. He knew he'd missed the plate. It's a heck of a play by both Schwarber and Contreras. Schwarber, a former catcher as well. There's a strike. Seen a lot of those calls go to review in the regular season. I can't remember one over the last few years since this rule was put in place that was so close and could have gone the other way. You basically, as the replay umpire there, if you're Eric Cooper back in the review center in Chelsea, New York, you know what's coming.
Listen, Eric is not wrong. He's 100% right by the law, by the rule. It's a bad rule. You want to stop the athleticism of these players? Silliness.
And now Bellinger sends one high in the air, a mile high. Both runners are going to tag. Zobrist makes the catch. Turner will stop, and Taylor on his way to third base. He just missed that by a fraction of an inch on the bat. Had that home run swing. Actually had that home run sound to it. Curtis Granderson will pinch hit here for Hernandez.
Those are the numbers for Granderson this season. 1 for 8 in the post. Early on did some good things for the Dodgers, but never caught fire.
Granderson in his first 6 games as a Dodger hit 3 homers, including a grand slam. First series he played in August. He played his first game August 19th with the Dodgers. It was in Detroit. Dave Martinez now managing the game for the Cubs. Madden ejected. 2 runs are in. Puig homered to start the inning. Culberson scores on a controversial play at the plate. I guess it's really no controversy. The controversial rule maybe, but
yes,
it was called to the letter. And it's a 2-run inning. First and third.
The only way you could, by the rule, call it is that you felt the throw brought Contreras into the path of the runner. But if you saw it, you saw that he premeditatively stuck that foot out to keep his arm away.
Pitch in the dirt. Runner takes off Turner. He'll make it. It'll be a wild pitch. Turner with the RBI on that play at the plate. Continues his terrific postseason. Now 6 runs batted in. 5 of those coming in game 1 of the division series. So Lackey facing Granderson, who looks to deliver a knockout punch right here. 5-2 Los Angeles. 2 runs in.
John Lackey, 15 years ago, pitched Game 7 of a World Series.
Been one of the clutch postseason performers. Time with the Angels with a ring, with the Red Sox. Granderson pulls it foul. These guys have almost 30 years of experience matching up against one another. Granderson has 43 career at-bats. against John Lackey. He has 10 hits in those 43 at-bats. No secrets with these two.
Cubs bullpen in this game. First batter faced. Rondon gave up a home run. Montgomery gave up a single. Lackey gave up a single.
Second and third. And Granderson takes a ball. 3 balls, 2 strikes. All started with Puig's homer. The way he posed on it, you thought it would have gone halfway up the pavilion. Just scraped the wall, and his first postseason homer. It was a big one. Granderson on the ground with the shift on. Happ will make the play. The inning is over, and there is going to be a whole lot to talk about the 7th inning. Puig, and then Culberson scores as Contreras blocks him off. Madden ejected. 5-2 Dodgers. Seventh at 10 p.m. Eastern on TBS. Now the extra runs, the add-on runs for the Dodgers allows Dave Roberts to go with his left-hander Tony Watson to start this inning. We play in the 8th. The Cubs are up. Their manager has been ejected. And first at bat for Ben Zobrist takes ball 1.
It's almost like the long inning took Morrow out of the game, and with the 3-run lead, they can go to Watson, who pitched in 24 games for the Dodgers after his trade over. 2 games in the NLDS.
I remember Morrow batted last inning, dropped down a bunt. Pretty good bunt, actually. Ended up as an out, but we'll go with the left-handers. Jock Peterson is in. Peterson added to the postseason roster, was not on the DS roster for the Dodgers. Zobrist a little roller to first base. Bellinger beats him to the bag, and out number 1. This is what Major League Baseball called as the definitive look. You know, Contreras, I don't even know if it's possible to change your rhythm of how you do things, but you obviously have to retreat to catch a short hop like that with a catcher's mitt. But the sticking the leg out hockey goalie style.
Listen, by the rule, he knew that if he went by the rule, there's no way he was going to be able to make the play because he had to give the lane. So he tried to fudge on the rule, and and Eric Cooper and Chelsea, they made the right call. I find it silly. It's such a beautiful athletic play. It's not allowed in the game anymore.
Here's Jay on the first pitch. He bounces to Culberson for out number 2. Watson, one of the few that struggled for the Dodgers in the division series against Arizona.
Third baseman number 17.
And now Chris Bryant is coming up, a 3-run lead. Dave Roberts sends Barnes to the mound. Does have activity in the bullpen. Kenley Jansen, the closer, is loosening for LA. Cubs had a 2-0 lead. They got off to a great start. Quintana was fantastic through the first 4 innings. Had faced the minimum. But the Dodgers, 2 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, 2 more in the 7th. It's given Dave Roberts the freedom to do what he wants. He gets Watson in, and now he's going to bring on his closer to try to nail down a 4-out save in game 1. Here comes Kenley Jansen, one of the best closers in the game. We'll set him up after this. Cubs-Dodgers rematch of the NLCS. Kenley Jansen is on for Los Angeles. A save situation. He'll try to get the last 4 outs. Do the Cubs have a little more magic? They certainly have the firepower to come back, but Jansen has been about as good as it gets. 2 saves in the postseason already.
Well, with the cornerstones of the Cubs, Bryant and Rizzo coming up, he goes straight to his closer.
2 huge runs for the Dodgers in the bottom of the 7th inning. Able to add on. Jansen pitched in all 3 games, finished all 3 games for Los Angeles in the division series against Arizona. 2 of those were saves, including a strikeout of Paul Goldschmidt, the final out in game 3 to send the Dodgers to the league championship series. 11 times in the regular season and the postseason combined, Jansen has gotten 4-out saves. Twice he's gotten 5-out saves.
And last year against the Cubs in the NLCS, 6 1/3 innings pitched, 1 hit, no walks, and 10 Ks.
0-2 to Chris Bryant. And Bryant pulls it foul.
Rare breaking balls you'll see from Jansen. former catcher, has developed a devastating fastball, especially the cutter he'll throw occasionally.
Changing up his delivery as well a little bit.
Trying to upset the timing of the hitter.
Wants to go back to the slider. 2 outs. Bryant at the plate. And down he goes. Jansen strikes him out. Dodger pitching has retired 15 Cubs in a row. And they lead it 5-2 as we head to the bottom of the 8th in game 1. Jansen with a strikeout to end the 8th. Presented by Lincoln Motor Company. 5-2, Dodgers lead the Cubs game 1 of the NLCS. John Lackey trying to give the Chicago Cubs 2 big innings to potentially finish this game, or at least give the Cubs a chance in the 9th inning. One game leads to the next. You have to empty it out, which is what they did. Joe Madden did in game 5, asking Wade Davis to get the final 7 outs for the save to get him here. And the Cubs know they're just trying to want to win every game you can, but if you can get out of Los Angeles and get one of these games on the road, sets you up in a better position. Lackey's a big part of this equation now moving forward.
Considering all the pitchers you had to use in game 5 against Washington, the flight stuff that we talked about earlier in the game.
2-2 the count. Forsythe, a swing and a miss. Down he goes on strikes. And John Lackey with a K to start the bottom of the 8th.
Austin Barnes.
112th K in the postseason by John Lackey.
Forsythe with a couple of walks and a single tonight. Here's Austin Barnes. Lackey drops down sidearm. Looking ahead to the Chicago ninth inning. They will have Rizzo leading off, Contreras, and then Happ, who came in on the double switch. John Lester will get the ball for game 2. A couple of lefties again tomorrow. John Lester against Rich Hill. Kyle Hendricks will get the ball for game 3, with Arrieta game 4 for the Cubs. There's a strike from Lackey. Barnes is 0 for 2 with a walk. Dodger bullpen right now has gone 9 up, 9 down as the Dodgers are taking the lead. 9 up, 9 down on 27 pitches. This bullpen of Los Angeles. Started with Cingrani, faced 1 batter, and then into Maeda. Morrow, Watson, and then on to Kenley Jansen. Dave Roberts took his starter, Clayton Kershaw, a man who will have a chance to win a 4th Cy Young Award this year. Took him out after 5 in a 2-2 game.
Bold move by Roberts, but the bullpen that they have, what we've seen tonight, is different than bullpens in the past in the postseason for the Dodgers.
3-2 to Barnes. Missed outside, ball 4. Barnes draws the walk, his 2nd of the game. It's a base runner for the Dodgers. They've had a ton of base runners starting in the 5th inning. Only had 1 through the first 4 innings. Here comes Puig. This is what started that wild 7th inning. Yasiel Puig. It was lost initially by Schwarber, and then it just carries out. First career postseason homer for Puig. It made it 4-2 Dodgers at the time. They would add 1 more on that play at the plate that everybody's going to be talking about. And a 2-run 7th. All 5 of these Dodger runs coming in the last 3 innings. On the ground, and a quick shovel over to second. Throw to first is in time. Bang bang play at second base, and hold up just a moment. They may want to take a look at this one as well at second base. Not sure if they're looking at the slide or the tag.
No, they're looking at, did Russell come across, and as he scraped the bag, did he have the baseball? That's what they're thinking about.
Look clean from that initial look. Certainly Rizzo kept his foot on the bag. Bob Guerin, the bench coach, on the phone to the Dodger clubhouse, their video room, and they say play on. It's a double play to end it, and it's last call for the Cubs. Do they have some magic in them? They're down 3. We go to the 9th. Modern Finance Company, including the Division Series. Dave Roberts Ball Club, when they have a lead after 8, typically when they turn the ball over to Jansen, 94-0 in those close games. Jansen has the ball, save opportunity, 3 outs away from a Game 1 win. Cubs will have Rizzo lead off, Contreras to follow, and then Ian Happ. Rizzo walked his first time up. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Cubs have 4 hits in the game. 2-run home run by Albert Almora Jr. gave Chicago a 2-0 lead in the 4th inning over Kershaw. Jansen and Rizzo, this figures to be a premier matchup the rest of this championship series. 4 for 11, including a home run against Kenley Jansen, and a couple of runs batted in. Popped him foul and out of play. That'll be in the seats. Ball and 2 strikes on Rizzo. Dave Roberts sticking to his game plan. Get to the 3rd time through the order, take the starter out, turn it over to the bullpen. Dodger pitching has been excellent. Rizzo, good swing, fouls it back. He's a little late.
Even the great Kershaw falls under those rules.
Yeah, right. Dodger pitching has retired 15 straight. Last base runner for the Cubs was that Almora homer in the 4th inning. A ball and 2 strikes. 2-2 now. Contreras hoping to hit with men on base. Cubs need 2 to reach to give themselves a chance, and they certainly have the power in their lineup to hit the big home run. 2-2, and a swing and a miss. Jansen strikes out Rizzo. Out number 1 here in the 9th inning. 16 straight retired by Dodger pitching.
2 outs by Jansen, both on the strikeout, both on the breaking ball. Breaking ball to Bryant, and now breaking ball to Rizzo. Rizzo getting to one knee to try to get down to catch that curveball that bounces before the plate.
1 away. Here is Contreras now. Singled and scored. He was on ahead of the home run by Almora. 1 for 3 tonight is Contreras.
See that little delay you get from Jansen there. He's altered some things. I remember watching him get his first save, and it really was just get the baseball and throw it as hard as he could. But now he's got a little style in his step as he tries to get hitters out, and still has that big arm.
Has that natural cut. Now starting to throw the slider more often. That's a pitch he just struck out Rizzo with.
Quick pitch there.
1 ball, 1 strike. Wave and a miss. A ball and 2 strikes, and a hesitation on the mound by Jansen. And that breaking ball that comes in at 83 miles an hour. 1-2. Back-to-back Ks in the 9th for Jansen. 3 in a row for him.
I think sometimes when you watch these closers, you fall in love with their stuff. But Jansen has a clear idea of what he wants to do out there and paints the inside corner with that fastball.
It's been a long time since the Los Angeles Dodgers have won a Game 1 in the National League Championship Series. You got to go back to 1985. Their last Game 1 victory in the NLCS. First at bat for Happ. Fouls it off, was jammed. Cubs finding ways to win against the Nationals. That thrilling series against Washington that ended Thursday. Plenty of time to regroup. And a strike. Cubs down to their last strike now. Jansen has it on lockdown.
Jansen's so good that the people in the stands are already giving each other hugs.
He got him. A strikeout to end it. The Dodgers win Game 1 of the NLCS. Yasiel Puig drives in a pair, including a big homer. Jansen 4 punch-outs to the 4 batters he faced, and another 4-out save, his 3rd save of the postseason already.
Well, the decision by Roberts to take Kershaw out after the 5th inning and down 2 works out for the Los Angeles Dodgers. As they tie the game, they go ahead on the Chris Taylor home run. Puig with the 2 RBIs, and Culberson with a sacrifice fly.
Culberson also had a single, getting the start for Seager. Dodger bullpen 12 up, 12 down. They threw just 40 pitches, and Dodger pitching finishes off this game by retiring the final 18 batters faced. A 5-2 Los Angeles win. They take Game 1 of the NLCS. First win for them in an NLCS game in 32 years. Yasiel Puig standing by with Sam Ryan. Take it away, Sam.
Yasiel Puig, a couple of RBIs in this one, the big home run in the 7th. We saw you watch that. Obviously, he went back. How did that one play out for you?
No, I try to do the best I can in the game. I come in here every day for practicing and focus and have a little bit passion in the home plate. That's the reason I play better right now.
Your first career postseason home run, that is your 4th hit off a lefty this postseason. What has been the difference for you?
What do you say, my first one?
Your 4th.
No, but you said my first home run in the postseason?
Your first of the first home run.
No, I have one more. I have in 2013 or 14 week when I faced Cardinals. But that's a lot of years ago. Nobody remembered that. No, but I come here, like I said, looking for good pitcher for hit, and he throw me fastball outside, and I take good swing, and I think so the wings helped me a little bit, and that's the reason I have this home run tonight.
Congratulations. Enjoy this one.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
All right, Sam, thanks. That is his first, by the way.
That's all right.
That's okay, Yasiel, no problem. What a great postseason he's having, though. Yasiel Puig has 2 RBI games in 3 of his first 4 postseason games right now. And the Dodgers win this one by a final of 5-2. A locked-in Yasiel Puig only adds to the depth of this terrific offense for the Dodgers. Send it back down to Sam. She is with Charlie Culberson.
Charlie Culberson, we talked before the game. We spoke about this one. Your first start, you get the start in this one at short. Your first postseason hit RBI. How do you sum up this day?
It was great. Big day for us. Awesome to get that first win out of the way. Everybody came to play, and glad to be a part of it.
Earlier on, you drove in the game-tying run with a sack, but then in the 7th, want to talk about that play at the plate. Obviously, that was reviewed. The rule, you were safe, ruled home. How did you see that?
Honestly, I thought I got my hand in there, but after seeing the replay, I think it was pretty obvious. Wilson kind of crossed home plate and really didn't give me much of a lane, and I think that's just baseball. Luckily enough, we got the run right there.
You see Puig, you follow Puig with his home run. You hear the adrenaline, the excitement here at Dodger Stadium. You follow that with a double. What was that at bat like?
It's great. Obviously, the fans here love Yasiel, and I do too. To see him have fun, smiling, doing his thing, you know, honestly gets me up too. So to see him put together good at-bats, you know, just gives me a little bit extra confidence going to the box.
Congratulations, Charlie.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Back to you guys.
All right, Sam, thanks. Congratulations, Charlie Culberson, getting his first postseason start at shortstop and had a good night to show for it, including that sac fly that tied the game. Final score tonight, the Dodgers beat the Cubs 5-2. This figures to be a terrific series. Cubs will come back strong tomorrow. They'll be matching up against Rich Hill tomorrow as the Cubs counter with John Lester. For Ron Darling, Sam Ryan, and the rest of our terrific crew, led in the truck by Scott Cockrell and Matt Lipp, I'm Brian Anderson saying goodbye from Los Angeles. You've been watching MLB on TBS, your exclusive home for the 2017 National League Championship Series. Now let's send it to Casey Stern with the postseason show on TBS, presented by the Lincoln Motor Company. Take it away, Casey.